to talk. Oh man, welcome. We will be live in just a few short minutes. Our top of the hour break just started. I was making some videos before I went on the air for members of the YouTube channel. So those of you that are YouTube channel members, make sure you check out the videos that I post up there and other things. That's right. So there's a lot to cover today. I'm gonna start with some clips and talking about the Trump press conference yesterday, which was an amazing press conference. That was just an awesome press conference. Doesn't get much better than that. I mean, it was a... We'll be live in just a few minutes.
Indian town just east of 95. This report is service of Lowe's. Only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500. Discount on eligible product only and reflected in quote. Restrictions apply. See Pro Desk for details. MVP's Pro Rewards program subject to terms. That's traffic on Rito Grant.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach.
Good. Start to your Tuesday.
I do some audio processing for Mike on his weather report because I have a really good audio program to edit audio and process audio with on Adobe Audition. Welcome, everyone. Well, he's not just in... Yeah, I've been making a video today. This is... the press conference yesterday was his first press conference since he won re-election, you know. You might be able to get that one up for the top. You might be able to get that one to play now.
No, it's already passed.
Oh, has it? Oh, I had the volume down. Oh, okay.
Sorry, no, I got it finished and sent after.
Oh, okay.
So I just missed it.
Welcome, everyone. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, and everyone who's already subbed, do me the favor of liking the video. Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And if you're looking on the screen right now, you can see I'm going to start today talking about this incredible press conference that Trump had yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. And it was his first press conference since he won re-election. And it was a great press conference. It was like 90 minutes long. And it was really one of his best press conferences, wasn't it? I thought it was wild.
Offering great deals on new and
all right, here we go.
I have many suppliers.
Stand by.
Car and truck you have. I can get you incredible deals.
I'm going orange MAGA today.
Tire repairs at very low prices. So give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445. I will give you a price over the phone.
Here we go.
New and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
It sure is. Welcome, one and all. It is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024. My name is Brian Craig. And, of course, you were listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47, soon to be, in just a couple of weeks, 48 years on the radio, The Steve Kane Show, the longest-running radio show in the state of Florida. In fact, this may be the longest-running radio show in America. I know they say the Grand Ole Opry, but but the same host? I don't think so. He's been doing this show for 48 years. Well, listen, we got a lot to cover today. Did you catch President Trump's press conference? Oh, man. The Mar-a-Lago press conference. That was President Trump's first press conference since he beat that wino homewrecker, Kamala Harris. And it was a great press conference. And I want to play some of the clips of it and talk about it because there were some epic things that were discussed in that press conference. But I'll tell you, it was a different press conference. There's a different tone with the media. Now, those that were covering President Trump yesterday, I don't know how many of them are going to be in the White House press briefing room and who's there now and all of this. I don't know if that's even all been settled yet. But the press, if you've noticed, and maybe you haven't, but I've noticed, they're treating President Trump differently than in his first term. Some of that is you don't have those vile, disgusting lowlives like Jim Acosta trying to make viral moments. There was another guy. Who's that guy that's on Univision? The one that Trump had removed from a press conference during the first campaign. I forgot his name. Jose something. You know what I'm talking about, from Univision. Another jerk. The press, they asked tough questions, and some of them were stupid questions. They asked questions about all the major news topics and everything. And I'm not saying they were giving him a free ride, but there's a level of respect that President Trump is getting from the press that he didn't get ever before. Now, why that is, I'm not 100% sure. Is it because these are people that are not in the White House press corps? Or were they? I don't know. I saw the people there. I didn't see some of those usual suspects. So they're a different group of people, and the people in the Washington press corps are like a gang. Do any of you remember Peaches, the record store? Do you remember Peaches, the record store, Mike? No, before his time. You ever go to Peaches? Peaches was a record store, and everything in there was made out of wood, and it smelled like a wood shop when you went in. And you'd go there to buy your records and cassettes, and later CDs. And I remember the people that worked at Peaches were just never nice. No matter what Peaches you went to, and all the people that worked at Peaches, they dressed in ripped up jeans and Birkenstocks and all this stuff. And they worked at Peaches, but they thought they were in some cool band. And they acted like they were in some cool band, and you were just a groupie that was bothering them when you would go to Peaches. Any of you ever have that? Remember that? Well, that's how the White House press corps is. The White House press corps, they're really a gang. The White House press briefing room is a tiny, tiny little space. And I think most people are shocked at how tiny it is. It is, a lot of you say, I know it's small. You don't realize how small it is until you're in it. It's very, very tiny. They have these bizarre little cubicles they work out of that's even a smaller space. They're on top of each other. And they're in very close quarters, some of them for years, which makes them miserable. They're cranky. They stand around for hours and hours and hours and hours, day after day, with nothing happening. And then there's a brief moment where they're on TV for a couple of minutes, and that's it. And they're miserable. They really should be rotated out of there. It should be an assignment people only have for a short period of time. And what's happened is they've become like these Peaches, these snobs that think they're in a band, even though they're not in a band. They just sell records. You know, they think there's something they're not. They're a very close-knit gang. Maybe kind of like Lord of the Flies or something. I don't know. It's just they're not pleasant people. And they're just nasty. And in President Trump's first term, they were so hostile to him every day. And this press conference yesterday, I watched the entire thing twice. I watched it yesterday live, and then I went through it this morning because I wanted to make sure I got all the sound bites I wanted to share with you guys, which I did. And which I'm going to go through and break down starting after the first break. What was my biggest takeaway from it. I'm going to start with the top of the heap. But the press conference, maybe they're treating him with respect. That doesn't mean they're giving him a free ride, but they're treating President Trump with some respect we never have seen before. And I'm not exactly sure what it is. Is it because this is not the regular miserable gang at the White House press corps room, or is there an acceptance from the press that he's the president for the first time? You know, a lot of times when I was in college and I had a black racist liberal college professor as my sociology professor. He had a very heavy accent. I don't know where he was from, and he thought this was such a racist country, but he came from a country that was a 100% black country and immigrated here. I don't know why you would leave a country that's all black to come to a racist country, but anyway, regardless. And I remember when I took sociology in college, he said, no matter what class you're born into, you can never rise to the next class, no matter how much money you have. Like if you're born, poor white trash, you're always going to be poor white trash, even if you marry a billionaire. This is what he told us. Well, I don't know. Maybe in that hellhole in the third world that you escaped to America from, it's that way. But that's how liberals view people. You're in a class. They're in a class, right? The media, the permanent Washington class, they're above everyone else. They're in the Capitol. It's like the Hunger Games. And President Trump isn't part of that class. That's how they viewed him in the first term. But now it seems like for the first time they're saying, okay, this guy's the president. And the first term, they didn't consider him the president. Remember, they were running around in the woods trying to thank Hillary Clinton for what? Destroying the lives of women who were sexually abused and used by her husband? I don't know what they were thanking her for. But I think there is an acceptance from the media that this guy's the president and he's legit. They didn't give him that respect the first time. So yesterday's press conference, which I'm going to go through starting after the first break, I'm going to break it down. I thought it was a beautiful press conference where President Trump just laid it out there saying the most amazing things. If you're on hold, hang in there. We're going to take our first break of this Tuesday morning edition of the program. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Hey, guys. Now listen. If you're new, subscribe. Mr. Jozo, Bigley. Do you know what Bigley is? Don't tell Mr. Jozo, guys, in the chat. There's always going to be people in the chat that want to tell. Do you know what Bigley is an abbreviation for? Bigley? Liberals think Trump doesn't know how to pronounce words, but Bigley is an abbreviation for something. Don't tell him. Let's see if Mr. Jozo knows. Bigley is an abbreviation for something. It's not Trump mispronouncing a word. No, you don't know, do you? Didn't think so. It's short for big league. It's just a abbreviated way to say big league. Bigley is an abbreviation for big league. That's all. Well, we'll We'll get by without you, Pink, Angel, Auditor. We'll manage. And chemo, oh my goodness. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to get to the first soundbite before I take calls and talk about it. To me, it was the biggest one. There were a lot of big things said yesterday, but this is the biggest one to me. Well, I don't mind. You don't have to like me to watch. I still get credit for your view on YouTube, even if you hate me. And you're not subscribed.
Hi folks, Anita Mitchell here. Please join me on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for What's Your Story with Anita Mitchell. Join me this Tuesday at 7 p.m. for What's Your Story with Anita Mitchell. That's on the station.
We'll be back right after this. America is MAGA. We just re-elected our great MAGA king, Donald John Trump. Michael Todd, welcome. All right, 17 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. Callers on hold. Stand by. All right, I'm going to play this first clip from the press conference yesterday. I'm not going to do any lead-in. I'm just going to play it, and then we'll talk about it after. But this is one of the most important things. President Trump, he talked about a lot of important things. But this is one of the most important things I think he said yesterday. Just to give a little context, this was in regards to questions being asked about the Disney ABC $15 million settlement for their slanders against President Trump. And they asked if he was going to go after other members of the media. All right, and that's the context of what he's talking about here. Listen.
Well, I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very, very good pollster who got me right all the time. And then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points, and it became the biggest story all over the world because I was going to win Iowa by 20 points. The farmers love me, and I love the farmers. And it was interesting the way she did it. She brought it down 2 weeks before. She said I was going to only win by 4. That was a big story. But that was good because she brought it down from like 22 points to 4. Or whatever the number was, way up, an easy win. Never even thought to go there. I respect them, I love them, and they understand there's no reason to go there because she brought it from way up, walk away, which it was, and it turned out to be in the election too, by the way. It was a win by many, many points. And then she brought it down very smartly to 4, a couple of weeks before, and everyone said, wow, that's amazing, he's only up by 4 points. Then she brought it down to where I was down by 3 or 4, whatever the number she is. And that was the Des Moines Register, and it was their parent. And in my opinion, it was fraud, and it was election interference. You know, she's got me right always. She's a very good pollster. She knows what she was doing. And she then quit before. And we'll probably be filing a major lawsuit against them today or tomorrow. We're filing one on 60 Minutes, you know about that, where they took Pamela's answer, which was a crazy answer, a horrible answer, and they took the whole answer out and they replaced it with something else she said later on.
Okay, so that was one of the most important things that President Trump said yesterday, and let me tell you why. I want to talk. He talked about 2 things: the 60 Minutes and then this poll out of Iowa. I don't like talking about polls. Steve and I, for years, every election, we've had these arguments over the polls, and I never really talked about them. Steve is into the polls and, would drag me into it. And so I've talked about them over the years, but I've always complained about talking about them. I didn't complain as much this last time because I'm just tired of whining. about it, but the polls were being talked about so much in the news, I felt that I had to put them in perspective. And I've told you guys at least 1,000,000 times on the air that the polls that we see publicly are not the real polls. They're push polls. The poll's purpose is to push public opinion in a certain direction, whatever the poll's about. The real polls are the internal polls. They're the truly scientific polls that the campaigns do, and we never see them. They're never made public. In fact, one of the wino, Kamala Harris, one of her top campaign guys, in an interview a couple weeks ago, said, I couldn't understand these polls in the news because our internals had us losing by 10 points here and stuff. It's because the internals are the accurate ones. The public ones are not. And President Trump, in the last few months of the campaign, repeatedly referenced that he doesn't believe those pollsters actually poll people. If you're on hold, hang in there. This is a very important point. And I believe it is incredibly possible and highly likely that in many of the instances, the major polls that we see in elections, they don't poll people. They just make up the numbers and then publish it. Who checks? How do you know? So this one out of Iowa was put out there was just absurd. You heard President Trump. And this lawsuit that he's going to do, because I know people in the media are in a panic. How can you sue the media? And all this stuff. He's not suing them because he's just mad at them because they had a poll that wasn't in his favor. With the lawsuit, they would like to probably settle this out of court, but Trump's not going to settle. He doesn't care about the settlement. With the lawsuit comes discovery. And what will happen is all of the people involved in the poll are going to have to give sworn depositions where their statements and testimony will be made under penalty of perjury, which could land you in jail. But they're going to have to produce how they do their polling. And they're actually going to have to prove that they poll people. They have the phone numbers. The people, if they have a list of phone numbers, those people are going to be contacted and depositions will be done with them to find out if they were actually polled. And if they were, if their answers that were written down were the answers they gave. You get it? So we're going to find out whether these public polls that are in the media are actual scientific polls or if they're just made up numbers. Right? That's huge. Don't you understand? That's huge. Then at the end, he was talking about 60 Minutes with that Kamala edit. So they took an answer from another question and did an edit with a question that they asked that her answer was confusing to make her look good. There's going to be the same thing with that. Everyone involved at 60 Minutes with that segment is going to be questioned under oath under penalty of perjury. And we're going to find out how that happened. And my guess is that's normal. What they did was so insane, that can't be something they just did at 60 Minutes. That's probably the norm. That's why I don't do many. Sometimes I get asked to do interviews. I don't do that many. And I've mentioned this a few times because it's relevant to this. I did an interview with a friend who forgot to, we were in different locations. They're in a different state. And I was actually in my car in a parking lot doing the interview. And they forgot to hit record on their mic. They just had my responses to the questions and my part of the conversation. So they went back in and recorded their questions over again. And when I was listening to the interview with my wife said, you didn't answer his question. You answered like another question. I didn't think anything of it because I didn't really remember. And it didn't air for a while after I did it. And I was just it was a friend of mine. He's a friend of mine now. And we had a conversation. And he said, oh, I forgot to hit record. So I just, And I had not done an interview in a long time because of things like that, and it's a friend of mine that was, and it was nothing made me look bad or anything. They wouldn't make me look bad anyway, but it's with the technology today. This is what happens and what can happen. I certainly wouldn't want to do an interview with an unfriendly person. They chop it up and do all kinds of things. So this thing was 60 Minutes with Discovery and everything else. We're going to find that our media have been doing all kinds of manipulations that are criminal, and literally criminal, especially for 60 Minutes, since they hold an FCC license. You know, when it comes into elections, do you know here at the radio station, a lot of people ask me, you know, you didn't do a lot of interviews. I've heard this from people. You don't do a lot of interviews during the election this last time. Why? I don't get into it, but I'll tell you now. You know, for us to do an interview with someone who is political, who's running for office, there's like a stack of papers as thick as the New York City phone book in the 70s that have to be filled out. There's all kinds of rules and regulations in broadcasting with interviews. It's too much of a hassle. It really is to do interviews because there's so many regulations and rules and so much paperwork. I don't want to be bothered with it. Tell you the truth, it's not worth it. And I have friends of mine who running for office that wanted to come on the show. I said, can't do it. When I'm going to have the radio station, have somebody spend a day filling out paperwork? No. You know, no. You know, so what 60 Minutes did is a campaign violation, and very well could be an FCC violation. I don't know. Well, Trump will find out. And I'm telling you, what they did is the norm. So this is beautiful what Trump is talking about, and that's why I say out of all he talked about a lot of important things. I'm going to play more clips, and we're going to talk about it as the show goes on. But that's one of the most important because what he's talking about with that fake poll and that fake edit on 60 Minutes with Kamala, that's something that's probably been going on for decades and will go on forever and ever. If Trump doesn't expose it, which he's going to do through these lawsuits. That's huge. Huge. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
Making morning radio great again. It's the Steve Kane Show.
It is huge. And I don't think people really realize how huge it is. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go to the calls after the break. Just queuing up some others for later. Okay, those of you on hold, hang in there. This sounds a little too tight. Let me adjust it. It might be too big. I'll see. I like my hats loose. When I'm on the air, my blood pressure goes through the roof. You know? No, there's no bald spots. Are you freaking kidding me? No? Are you kidding me? Hell no, there's no bald spots. You think you got me confused with Tim Pool. Tim Pool should own his baldness. No, this isn't complaining, this is analysis. Trump is so freaking smart, man. There's 2 openings on the board. That's right, we're going to party like it's 1999. Eastern Tennessee, welcome. We'll be back shortly. There's 2 openings on the board if you'd like to call in. I'm going to go right back to the phones after the break. I'm going to take the calls in the order in which they came in. The person who's been on hold the longest has been on hold 19 minutes. Oh yeah, that was an awesome press conference. There were a lot of important things he talked about, but that one just was like, I can't wait for those the 60 minutes in that Iowa poll to be investigated. The polls are one of the most manipulative things that they do. Have I considered interviewing Pam Bondi? I've interviewed her before. I don't no, I don't do many interviews. She wouldn't say much right now. What does she get? She can't say much. It would prejudice what she's going to do. She's not going to tell you much. Most interviews people do, most, not all. I don't want to say that about everybody, but most interviews people do are really a waste of time and an ego exercise for who's doing the interview. I mean, sometimes people, like Pam Bondi's awesome, but she's not going to be able to tell you anything. Exposing the fake news like he's talking about doing is amazing. The fake news are a poison in our society. They really are. If he exposed that the polls are all fake, could you imagine? All right, we're going to go right to the phones. I'm going to take these calls in the order in which they were received. And if you're new to the program, all our calls are screenless. We do not screen the calls. No one even answers the phone. When you call in, I just reach over and put you on hold. No one answers the phone. We have somebody here who could screen the calls, Mike, but we don't do that. All the calls are screenless. I guess we screen them on the air, as you can tell by the low quality sometimes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, good morning. It's Brian. Up here in Vero. Well, actually, Indian River County.
Oh, Brian in the hospital. How'd your heart procedure turn out?
Well, you know, it did good. I went. I was back in the room by 12 o'clock. It was amazing. And I really appreciate it because I only make one call, then don't listen to the show after a while.
Oh, shame on you.
second day. I'm going to send you a better.
I commented on your post on Twitter, X.
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know if you check your Twitter when you're in the hospital bed, but I...
Oh, yes, I do. But and that was a selfie I took, but I had another one taken today. But it's amazing.
Brian here, he takes pictures of himself in his hospital bed after surgical procedures and posts them on X. So a lot of people do that.
And I got the upgraded model, but everything went well. I was back in my room by 2 p.m. And at least I got to eat a little bit later. So
that's awesome. My wife had a friend who had a double lung transplant, and she gave the nurse her camera and had her nurse take a picture of her when after her lungs were removed, of her lungless body opened, and she posted it on Facebook. I didn't look at it. I didn't want to see that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. But I want to let you know, what Trump did yesterday was amazing. He's always on. He's able to talk and communicate. It doesn't matter whether there's one reporter or three. He knows how to take the questions and answer them. And you never saw anything like it before. It's just great. But yes, the media needs to be held accountable. These polls are worthless. A lot of them.
I would imagine most of them, or at least a lot of them, are just, they make up the numbers. I mean, why? Who checks?
Exactly. But
well, I'm glad you're doing well in the hospital, and keep in touch.
I do have one favor. Sometimes when you get a little close to the mic and you get a little loud, it sort of wakes me up a little bit.
Well, that's good. It's a morning show. We want to wake people up.
Exactly. But it's really good. I'm only going to make one call, but I will send you that updated picture.
All right. I appreciate it. Take care. Yeah, a lot of people like to take pictures after medical procedures. Sometimes of their kids, and they put them on social media. I don't like any of that. In fact, I will unfollow and block people who do that. Okay? I'm not into that, and I don't know. People do strange things. They really do. All right, back to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hi, Brian. It's Ross. How you doing?
All right, what's up?
What about that other bum that wears the toupee? Now, he predicted that President Trump wouldn't win.
Who's that? I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, it's this guy. He's a pollster. And
Frank Luntz? Frank Luntz.
Yeah, he looks like he has a toupee on his head.
Because he does have a toupee. A bad one.
Yeah. I'll say. Well, anyway, he said that President Trump would win, and then afterwards he had to eat crow. He had to take his words back. And two, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize.
Mm-hmm.
He should have gotten it in his first term. Not Barack Obama. Barack Obama got it because he went on late night TV shows and yacked it up with people.
Well, if you remember, Obama got it before he did anything, and they gave it to him for future expectations of greatness. I'm not making that up, by the way. That's true.
No, President Trump always works so hard for the people. And he barely gets any sleep. And Barack Obama's over there going to shows where they're singing songs with Beyonce.
Well, it's better what Supreme Court Justice Ketanji's doing. Did you see what Ketanji's doing? Biden's girl on the Supreme Court. She's performing in a musical gay version of Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, you gotta be.
She's on stage singing. She can't sing. And it's a gay version of Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a sick world that we're living in right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say. But President Trump, I love him. I hope someday I get to meet him. I think him and his family are wonderful.
They sure are. All right, take care. Appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Roz is a nice girl, but she must have smoked like 5 packs of cigarettes a day with that voice of hers.
Well, you know, I call her, that Roz is not her name. It's a nickname I gave her. I forgot what her real name is. Roz is a character from a Disney cartoon called Monsters, Inc., and she's got a voice just like that, so I started calling her Roz from that, and she likes it. I told her what it's from. And a lot of cigarettes.
Big time. Oh,
Uh-huh. I know.
here's the deal, Brian. I'm not going to knock you, but I mean, I got so sick of listening to you at points because you had complete shows on polls. And my outlook on polls, and I know you always had that caveat when you said that push polls, but you ran complete shows on this for hours. And
I had to.
Well, even the exit poll when President Trump won the first time, Hillary was one on the whole poll exit. I don't believe any.
Well, hold on a second. There, you know, Richie, in the last few months before the election, this show, I felt like, remember I was telling people I'm not your therapist. All these people like Steve and some of these called, they were like suicidal. I had to go over the polls to keep people off the ledge.
Yeah, but I used to listen to it twice. I used to listen to it when you started, and then Steve would come on and he would be in such depression. And you'd have to explain to him. You know, polls are you got 50-50 chance for the poll. You're either the predictor's going to have it right or he's going to have it wrong. You always brought up the fact that how many Democrats had just won from Iowa? She could have had all Democrats calling all Democrats, and that's perfectly legal, by the way. But it'll expose them. Okay,
Well, what if they? But who says they actually poll people?
Well, yeah, that's one thing. Who knows that about? Maybe you're right about that. Maybe they don't poll anyone. They just do that to sway it.
Well, I told you guys. I've used this example. Okay, back in the days of the Arbitron ratings diary. Okay, they don't have those anymore. It's done electronically now through signals from the radio station. But I used to go to personal appearances, and listeners would come to me with their Arbitron diaries and say, I listen to you every day, but I hate you, so I write down, WIOD, even though I'm listening to you. And then I was like, well, what am I going to do? And then I told you there was a rating service, and there used to be multiple rating services in the Miami radio market, and there was one service where all the English language stations were falling out of the top 10, and they were all Spanish language, and they did an and I'm talking about some big stations got upset, the Y100 level stations. They did an investigation, and they did their ratings through telephone surveys, not the Arbitron diaries, and it was way down in Miami. They hired all Spanish speakers. And they just wrote down their favorite radio stations, not with.
Right, but here's the deal. You talk about fraudulent. We've been under. You remember when they had all those doctors when Bill Clinton when they were all out on the lawn with their white coats, or was that Obama? And they weren't doctors. They just put white coats on everybody in the audience.
Yeah. Well, they put. Let's hold on a second, because that was insane. Okay, when Obama had a press conference on the front lawn of the White House announcing Obamacare, they had all these doctors, so they said, on the stage behind him. I mean, a lot. And they didn't have their doctors' lab coats, so they went to, this is a true story, you can look this up. They went to the White House kitchen and took the white coats off the cooks and the kitchen workers and put it on these people and told us they were doctors in lab coats for the photo op. I mean, and they got away with it. I mean, we talked about it, but CBS didn't.
No, but what I'm trying to say here is we're fed a bunch of crap on the media feeds us crap all the time. I mean, not for nothing. You had a president of the United States for 4 years who was absent. He wasn't even a president, but they kept saying, "Well, President Biden this, but President Biden doesn't know what he had for breakfast."
So what's your point? I don't. What's your?
My point is that polls are just full of garbage.
Yeah, but most people don't know that. And by the way, we believe it to be true, but we don't have proof of it. So President Trump is going to prove it in these lawsuits. And millions of people are going to find something out that never even occurred to them about the polls.
I saw a difference in the tone. Either they're afraid of being sued by him, or they're actually respecting him because of the crap that they had to go through for 4 years.
It's a mix.
No press conferences.
It's a mix. It's a mix. All right, appreciate the call, Richie. Take care. Now, I want to tell you guys about Dr. Appleton and his laser away pain treatment. You know, with the laser away pain treatment, there's no shots, no injections, no drugs, no surgery, no downtime. It's 100% painless. And oh yeah, it works because he's rid me of pain 6 times. You know, it works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. Arthritis, bursitis, work injuries, sports injuries, strains and sprains, repetitive motion injuries, post-surgical swelling, neck injuries, back injuries, knee conditions, tinnitus, sciatica, spinal stenosis, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis, which I understand is one of the worst pains that exist, rotary tears, herniated disc, acute pain, chronic pain. And that is an incomplete list I just gave you. Stop living in pain. Go see Dr. Appleton and say bye-bye to your pain. Remember, appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome, even on Saturdays. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Brian Craig here. Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent, to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call in at Cruise and Travel Depot right now, 561-244-5779, 561-244-5779, and online at cruisingdepot.com to make your reservation and lock in our private group rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises.
Hey, my true oldies listeners, John Tesh here with some intelligence for your retirement this time. When you're looking for a retirement advisor, you don't trust and experience are two big calls.
We'll be back shortly, guys.
As it turns out, my friend Jupiter Joe Thomas possesses both of these. Whether you're in retirement or looking to retire, I want you to give local expert Joe Thomas a call. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. Or, even simpler, you can go to jupiterjoe.com. Mention my name, John Tesh. You'll receive a free copy of Joe's book, Retirement Know-It-All. Great book. Call 561-743-0999. Or remember, go to jupiterjoe.com. That's jupiterjoe.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands.
Oh boy.
And feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
We take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane Show is on.
All righty, we are back. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. All right, now let me get back to this. Hold on, what did I want to play now? Oh, yes. I wanted this fits into the press conference. I want to play this exchange with the press with Mayor Adams. Now, everyone knows he's angling for a pardon. He's a victim of lawfare, so he's making a lot of sense lately, especially for a Democrat. But this is Mayor Adams, Mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, talking about the healthcare shooter.
Ivy League, grew up in an affluent household. His manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Our children are being radicalized. I said this over and over again. Everybody's like, what are you talking about, Eric? And, our children are being radicalized to hate America, to hate the country that put them where they are. This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything. to the point of shooting someone. And we've been dealing with the radicalization of our young people. And, you know, people could, you know, they could complain that I'm saying it, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing our bench is hating the team. And we better start acknowledging and focusing on that. And so having dance parties celebrating the death of someone, I don't support that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and it's very true statements there. You know, and a similar thing with that incident yesterday. I told you guys, as soon as they arrested him, I said, we're going to be hearing about this guy forever because he's good looking. This is not the first time the Democrats have glamorized, basically, this guy, Luigi here, is a terrorist. He was targeting someone because they're a healthcare CEO. And this is not the first time the left have done this. They've done this many times over the years with god-awful killers. But the most recent instance was several years ago now, but the surviving brother from the Boston bombing, the Zarnoff brothers. And they put him on the cover. I want to say it was the cover of Rolling Stone. I may be wrong, but they had a photograph of this. Remember, there were the two brothers, and one died in the shootout, one lived. And the one that lived, they had a photograph of him that was similar to a Jim Morrison photograph, if I remember correctly. And they were glamorizing him and trying to make him a sex symbol. And I remember when that Boston bombing happened, we all knew what it was. It was Islamic terrorism. We were still close to 9/11 then. And I was watching it live on Fox. Shepard Smith was still there, and he was on in the afternoons. And Shepard Smith everybody in the world knew it was Islamic terrorism. And Shepard Smith says, well, you know, a lot of people don't know in Boston, the electrical transformers are at sidewalk level. They're not high above. It looks like a transformer explosion to me. Come on. Blowing people's legs off, Shepard Smith. That's why you've disappeared. He used to be a local reporter on multiple Miami local news stations. He was a good guy, and then he moved to Greenwich Village and became the village idiot and has done himself in career-wise. But what's going on, what Mayor Adams talked about is so true. The left are radicalizing people to commit acts of violence. This incident yesterday is one of several done by radicalized leftists in the last couple of years. And the way that people are reacting to this shooter, I'm here to tell you that if Kamala Harris, God help us, this wino, because she's a drunk, if she had won this election right now, they would be having discussions on socializing the American healthcare industry, that this incident, while terrible and we don't approve of it, opens up a question that we've got to deal with. You know, is our healthcare system killing people and we got to do things? They would have used this incident to nationalize the American healthcare system. And I know a lot of people say, oh, they got a great system in Canada. They got a great system in England. Those are countries with small populations, and they don't have the level of healthcare that we have in the United States. I remember we had my wife's mother is an immigrant from Canada. She's an American now. She's been an American about as long as I have. But her family is from Canada, and I remember somebody in her family had to have heart surgery, and I remember they had a conversation about, did he reach the age cutoff for the surgery? Can you imagine the age cutoff? They'll do surgeries on you at 199 in this country. We never give up. This isn't Logan's Run. Canada is. His palm was blinking red. But and you look at what the left's reaction is to this shooter. It is sick. It is twisted. We've got a bunch of Hitler youth in this country, and the left believe, and they do believe this. If you disagree with them, you should be dead. That's how they believe. And Mayor Adams is right on the money. But President Trump was asked about pardoning Mayor Adams yesterday in this press conference. Listen. Oh, hold on. Why am I not here? Oh, I got to hit the button that says on. That'll do it. Okay, hold on. Here's President Trump.
Eric Adams.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think that he was treated pretty unfairly. Now, I haven't seen the gravity of it all, but it seems, like being upgraded in an airplane many years ago. I know probably everybody here has been upgraded. They see you're all stars, and they say, I want to upgrade that person from NBC. I'm going to upgrade him. And that would mean you'll spend the rest of your life in prison. I don't know. Somehow, I'd have to see it because I don't know.
By the way, that's true. That's one of the charges they brought against him, getting upgraded on a flight. And I got to tell you, I've gone places and listeners have recognized me, and I've gotten an upgrade. I've got a better seat in the restaurant, a better seat at the concert. I got to cut lines. The best is when I had to go renew my driver's license, and I didn't have to wait. I got my driver's license right on the spot. That's a crime. If you're mayor of New York, are you kidding me?
The facts. I think he was treated, it's very interesting. When he essentially went against what was happening with the migrants coming in, and, he made some pretty strong statements like, this is not sustainable. I said, you know what, he'll be indicted soon. And I said it, not as a prediction, a little bit lightheartedly, but I said it. I said, he's going to be indicted. And a few months later, he got indicted. So, yeah, I would certainly look at it.
Okay. Yeah, now see, this is an interesting thing. He's not saying, no one's saying that Eric Adams didn't do some monkey business. There's something with the fundraising, foreign fund. I don't know all of it. It doesn't matter. They went after him because he challenged Biden on the illegals that he was relocating to New York. And they went after him as a warning to other mayors around the world. If you step out of line, you'll go to federal prison too. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime, right? That's exactly right. And that's what they did. And it's wrong, and it's lawfare. And I'll tell you right here, right now, based on what we know now. Now, again, there could be things we don't know that Adams has done. Based on what we know now, he should be pardoned. Not because he didn't do anything wrong. I'm sure that some of these things are true, but it doesn't matter. He's a victim of lawfare, and this lawfare has to be stopped. I wonder how long they've been doing this and how many people have been victimized by it. I know this. If you're suffering from neuropathy, you're being victimized. I mean, that's awful. Neuropathy is living torture. Living torture. The symptoms of it are terrible. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in the hands and feet, dizziness, muscle twitching, the feeling of pins and needles in your hands and feet. Some have no feeling at all. Some have all of these symptoms at the same time. Some of them are in rotation. It's god-awful. And your doctors will tell you there's no treatment for neuropathy. That is not true. There is a treatment, and it's a treatment that works and a treatment that lasts. And they have it at Lighthouse Medical. Now, no matter where you're located, Lighthouse Medical can help you with your neuropathy. So no matter where you're located in Florida or America, give them a call, okay? You don't have to go into the office to get help. And it works. Steve had his neuropathy treatment at Lighthouse Medical over 2.5 years ago, and he is still neuropathy symptom-free. It's amazing. So give them a call. Now, when you call, make sure you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show, because then you get to take advantage of the no-charge consultation. There's not enough hours in the day for them to do no-charge consultations all day and all night with anybody. They offer that to our listeners. Okay, so make sure you mention that. Their number is 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. My name's Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 47 years on the radio. Our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll take a break for the top of the hour, come back. There's a lot more news to discuss and your calls. Don't go anywhere.
USFS 104.
Stand by, guys.
In-stock orders on select zip codes for same-day delivery, subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details. That's traffic. I'm Beverly Bentley Steele.
Traffic, a service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Catch football Sundays in the paddock with a delicious all-you-can-eat buffet and one draft beer for just $25. And get this deal for free by calling 561-683-2222 extension 199. Watch all the games on over 140 HD TVs and big screens every football Sunday. The paddock is also your best bet for Super OTB action, and show tickets make great gifts. Go to pbkennelclub.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for...
If you're on hold, hang in there.
754-222-6642.
Have you put off buying new tires because you thought they were too expensive? Find friendly prices at Friendly Tire in Margate on both new and used tires. New tires as low as $70 a tire. That's out the door and on the road, because Friendly Tire doesn't charge you to balance the tire or
It is
mount the
dark
tire.
and
They
cloudy
have
today.
used
Oh, my
tires in
goodness.
stock too, starting at just $30. Call for a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Alrighty, we are back. Coming up on 4 minutes after the hour. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian, Steve Kane Show. This story from, we'll get back to the press conference with the great President Trump soon, of CNN freeing this Assad torturer. You know, this is the same girl that faked that she was under fire. Talk about fake news. CNN went viral. This is in the New York Post. CNN went viral last week with footage of the startled prisoner being led from the prison by journalist Clarissa Ward, who called it one of the most extraordinary moments I have witnessed in her 20 years of, I guess, fake news reporting, we can call it. But independent and unbiased fact checkers verify Psy, it's called. Verify Psy is the name of the fact checkers. Oh, good. We got some fact checkers after these leftists. Published a detailed report Sunday saying that the seemingly innocent prisoner was actually Salama Mohammed Salama, a first lieutenant in Syrian Air Force intelligence with a long history of alleged war crimes. And this guy, he should get a freaking Oscar. Or I guess it's television. We'll give him an Emmy for his acting. When they let him out of the prison where he was torturing people, he was all scared. I'm out. Oh, the sun! I can see the sun. They say we've been investigating his background. We're aware. CNN says we've been investigating his background and are aware that he may have given a false identity. We're continuing our reporting into this and a wider story. The CNN story last week showed Ward, that's the CNN fake news lady, and a camera crew escorted by a rebel fighter visiting a former Syrian Air Force intelligence headquarters in Damascus and freeing the man who was found under a blanket locked in a windowless cell. This guy, this is what you want in your intelligence service, minus the torturing. But he knew how to play the part and save himself, didn't he? He gave his name as Adel Grubai and claimed to have been arrested by government authorities 3 months earlier and said he had no idea the Assad regime had collapsed. However, he appeared well-groomed, physically healthy, with no visible injuries or signs of torture. Didn't look like someone who had been held in solitary confinement in the dark for 90 days. Also, he did not flinch or blink when gazing up at the sky, despite having said he had not seen sunlight in 3 months. Oh my goodness. He worked at several security checkpoints and was involved. It goes on about all this stuff. But anyway, CNN, fake news, crafting fake news. They're stupid. They don't fact check anything. They just put it out there on the air. And I wonder how many other times something like this has happened. What an embarrassment. This woman should be fired. You know, Dan Rather was the anchor of CBS Evening News. One of his producers messed up with that forged George W. Bush AWOL from the Texas Air National Guard document. Remember, they found in the Air National Guard retired colonel's garage, and then when they released it to the press, people looked at it, and the font was from Microsoft Word, which did not exist in the 70s. Oh, my goodness. And they fired the producer, and they fired the top guy, Dan Rather. Why isn't this woman fired and everyone connected to it? How many fake news stories? Remember that? There was one time I was watching a story on CNN. It was at one of the BLM riots, one of the mostly peaceful riots with the burning building kind of places. Remember that? And CNN is interviewing one of the protesters on the streets, and then Don Lemon was still there, and he was in studio, and it was a guy that worked at CNN. And Don Lemon let it be known, because I guess he figured they'd get busted, so he let it be known live on the air. How much? Remember after Hurricane Katrina, that one network reporter was reporting in the waist-deep waters in New Orleans in a boat. She was in a boat. She was doing a report from a boat on the streets of New Orleans. George Bush wasn't helping, it's flooded. She's doing a live report, and then two guys walked behind the boat. She was faking it. I mean, remember that? How much of the news is fake? This woman should be fired yesterday. Oh, my goodness. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Joe from New Jersey.
Hey, what's up, New Jersey?
Good, good.
Yes, you called me, so what's on your mind?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was on the air.
You're on the air, yes.
And I disagree with you on the Mayor Adams situation. I think he's obviously just trying to get away with what the crimes he's committed, which we're not aware of what they are. We have no idea what the details are yet about his charges. I don't think it's just upgrading.
Well, if it's okay, if it has to do with campaign finances and stuff, I don't care. Okay, I don't care. I don't care what he did. I don't care if he took money from Assad for his campaign. Why do you think I don't care?
Because you love Trump that much?
No. Guess again.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, you're in New Jersey. New York City is America's greatest city. Right? It is the beacon of America. It's really New York City and is the center of the world in many respects. Yeah. Okay. Mayor Adams is willing to cooperate to do what this country needs. It's not about loving Trump. It's about loving America. And that is work to organize and deport the illegals that are occupying the city of New York. That is so big and so important. You know, we've got a bunch of wannabes, like the mayor of Boston, that racist Asian mayor that has parties that white people aren't invited to. That lunatic mayor in Colorado. We got a bunch of loons out in California. If New York City's mayor is willing to openly deport their illegals from America's greatest city, these other wannabes are gonna cave like dominoes. And in doing that is so important. You take Mayor Adams out, and you get some liberal jerk like Anthony Weiner or whoever, or the former governor Cuomo was mayor. They're going to obstruct and not get it done. There's a bigger picture here. You don't want to win the battle but lose the war. So yeah. Now I wouldn't pardon him until he does it, but I would do it. Yeah, I don't care about his crimes, and to go after him on these lawfare crimes, whether or not he did it or not, is short-term thinking. There's bigger fish to fry.
I agree with that thinking. It makes a lot of sense. He is going to make a difference in influencing all these other liberal mayors. I I just don't think he's genuine. I think he committed some horrible crimes that we're going to find out about.
What do you think? What would be your guess as to the worst thing he may have done?
He took millions of dollars from the Chinese Communist Party to allow Chinese police stations to hunt down Chinese Americans.
Ah, that's great. That's awesome. That's awesome. No, that's awesome. So he knows where the Chinese police stations are. By the way, Chinese police stations, that's the CCP. They're our equivalent of CIA outposts that we have around the world, okay? So those are CCP safe houses. So he knows where they are. He can help us root them out.
I've visited them, and they're hunting down Americans.
Yes, of Chinese, Chinese immigrants, yeah. No, Mayor Adams, listen. When you take over a country, right? Like if you, like for example, when we took over Iraq or Germany at the end of the war, okay? You leave the Ba'athists and the Nazis in charge of a lot of things because they know how to work the infrastructure. So I'm not saying that Adams is not a bad guy. He's a bad dude. But he's running the joint, and he can help us do what's got to get done, and he'll help us do it. So we got to overlook all this stuff. If you want to get rid of the CCP Chinese police stations and the illegals and everything else, who cares what he did? Let him keep his money that he was bribed with or whatever. I don't care.
Okay, he's definitely singing the right song right now, that's for sure.
Yeah, what would you rather do? Keep New York like it is? Do you want to get rid of the Chinese police stations and the illegals or not?
I do, and as much as I don't like Adams, I know what's waiting behind him and after him is even worse.
So, okay, so now you're on board with me. Now, but you said I want to do it because I love Trump? What would you say?
I thought you were just so trustful of Trump's decision.
I am.
Where, and I see you that way sometimes. But
I am.
Okay, that was
I trust. Listen. I trust Trump with my life and the life of my family. Don't you?
I'm not sure about that, but
Really? Why not? Why not?
I don't know the man. I've never met him. Why would I just assume that he's the person I perceive him to be? I haven't met him yet.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You and I agree with you.
You're all right. You're in New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm not going to ask you about the drones. I'm so tired of talking about drones. But take care, man. All right. Sorry, New Jersey. You're on your own with the drones. I'm so tired of the drones. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Don't sit on the sidelines. Get in on the action. Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Do you guys agree with my thoughts on Adams? Yes or no?
This morning, right after 10 a.m., with more of your favorite oldies on South Florida's True Oldies channel.
The largest Kia year-end sales event ever is happening right now, only at one location. City Kia of Greater Orlando, just off the Florida Turnpike. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, I flipped that guy. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to go back to the phones. Yes, let him get away with breaking the law in exchange for making New York safe and start a domino effect of cooperating mayors around America. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's right. That's exactly right. I did a pretty good job convincing that guy. It didn't take long. Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago. Listening from the UK. Welcome, UK. I recorded a commercial for a radio station in the UK this morning before I came in. They wanted, it's a particular commercial for Christmas, and they wanted an American accent. But I mistakenly said Merry Christmas instead of Happy Christmas at the end, so I had to re-record it right before I came in. It's airing today in the UK. I wouldn't mind having a Lego set of Mar-a-Lago. That'd be pretty cool.
Specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations.
As many, you know, it's amazing. Christmas is huge in the UK, and there's so many damn atheists over there. I don't know why Christmas is so big and there's so many atheists in the UK. Can't quite figure that out.
Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the
Well, they wanted me to say Happy Christmas, and I
Again, that number is
said Merry Christmas.
604-4602.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. Listen in the Palm Beaches on 95.9 FM, the Treasure Coast on 106.9 FM, here is in Boca on 95.3 FM, Fort Lauderdale on 96.9 FM, and anywhere in the world at True Oldies FM.
All right, coming up on 18 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian. It's Tuesday. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show. Still time to do your Christmas shopping at MyPillow with our promo code Kane at checkout. Huge savings on almost the entire site and free shipping on orders over $75. And remember, I know Christmas is getting close, but you can have whatever you order from MyPillow delivered directly to the recipient. My wife and I do that. So go to MyPillow.com. Use our promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane, Kane. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Richard from Constance.
Hey, Richard.
Okay, I just want to say, I don't know how to express it. When I watched the whole news conference, too, from Mar-a-Lago, and how proud I felt that that's my president now. That's a man I respect. I'm so sick of that bumbling idiot Biden, the buffoon, the corrupt, lying piece of crap that he is. Even to the bitter end, he's selling off all that steel and forcing Trump to pay whatever he has to pay to finish that war. It was a wonderful feeling, you know, and I'm the one that called a week ago and said, I don't want to wait until January 20th. You know, it's just how I feel. It was a wonderful feeling to see.
You know, I know a lot of people are saying that this is an FU to Trump by Biden. I don't think so. I think there's just some crooked deal. You know, you got to understand something. Come January 20th at high noon, Biden's not going to have any more corrupt deals going on forever. He's out, and his whole family are out. So he only has a month to make as many deals. So, you know, the big guy's got to get 10%. So this is just him, you know, trying to, his brother probably made some deal with some people to buy the metal.
Just want you to know that.
There's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Watch him stand there. It's a wonderful feeling.
It's, you know, am I the only one that gets goosebumps every time you see president? It's so hard to believe he's president again. It's crazy after 4 years off. I mean, I know it happened once before, but, you know, it wasn't like this, and none of us were alive then.
It's not only seeing Trump again, you're right, but his whole cabinet, they're unique, special people. It just is a breath of fresh air. I just can't.
You know, the way to describe his cabinet is they're disruptors. And none of them are these Washington insiders that have deals with companies that want to buy scrap metal from the wall and all that stuff. They're incorruptible. They're the untouchables, like Elliot Ness.
Yep, that's a better way of phrasing it. Especially what's his name, the trillionaire.
I mean, you know, yesterday, let me tell you, this press conference yesterday, he brought up this Japanese guy, right? Who he announced a $100 billion investment from this Japanese company into America. And a lot of it's going to do with AI. That's going to create 100,000 jobs. $100 billion. Trump tried to get him to double it. Remember? Now maybe you've got some memories of this. I don't. I never remember a president of the United States before yesterday bring someone up from another country who's announcing an investment into this country. Every other president, all they do is have press conferences and give away our money to other countries, like Biden in Africa recently. Have you ever seen a president bring somebody up like President Trump did yesterday and announce a $100 billion with a B investment into the United States? I've never seen that before by a president. Have you?
No, Trump is unique and special. And now with Elon on board, that can only be a super plus down the line.
Absolutely.
He's got a lot on his plate, Elon Musk, but I think just having him there as a supporter, wow, he may run for office one day.
The first bud. Yeah, I appreciate the call. Take care. Oh, yeah. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Jeff from Maine, Brian.
Hey, Jeff, what's up?
You said it just at the end of that last caller. It's great to see President Trump back. He's not president-elect. He's acting president of the United States. And he was so professional. When that reporter asked him that stupid question about striking Iran, without telling him he was stupid and doing it very professionally or nicely, he says, we're never going to talk about what we may or may not do. And there was a change, don't you agree? Because I think years ago he was blasted, that reporter.
Yeah.
It's refreshing to see his new take on taking on the mainstream news media and the approach he's going to use.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, he's not wasting time getting involved in arguments with these losers.
Amen. That's exactly what he's doing. And his response on the drones was spot on. They know what they are, where they are, what they're doing, and wasn't even a little bit of a rise out of them. I believe his transition team is probably taking over on whatever that issue is, and it's
well, he knows too. He didn't say, but he knows too. And he knows, and I could tell by watching, he knows it's not that big of a deal. I know he made a joke that he's not going to fly to Jersey, but he made a joke that it's no big deal. What he did what the government, these gangsters and outlaws that run the country now, are not doing. He was calming people down, basically telling us there's nothing to worry about.
That's how, and he's been doing that more and more. As he was running for president up until winning, I believe he was very assured, very confident that he was going to win and that he was going to make America great again. And
Yep, that's right. All right. Hey, Jeff, good to talk to you. Take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
No, I also want to weigh in. It was really nice to see President Trump being able to answer questions without having to given to it in advance. He's awake, he's articulate. What a refreshing thing, LeeZep said in the last call before him. Yeah, man, it's really nice.
And we got to see not only we got to see a lot of things we've never seen before, right? An investor from another country, Japan, investing $100 billion with a B dollars, and then Trump was negotiating right there on live television to get him to double it. He almost did. It. And then he's like, I don't have that. I can tell. He's like, well, I don't have that much money. But he said, I'll try.
Put the money into the country, make us great.
Have you ever seen a president have someone from another country invest $100 billion? I've only seen them give our money away to other countries. Have you ever seen a president bring money to America like that before? I don't remember it.
Never. I've been watching a long time. Never ever saw anything.
Nope.
That was unique, totally unique. The other last thing is when you mentioned about the drones.
Please, no drones. No. Please, no drones. It's like I mentioned marijuana. I got a bunch of stoners on that line, okay? And we'll have full calls about the marijuana till the end of the show. If I bring up drones again, oh my goodness. It'll be the whole show till 9. Our number, we're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. When we get back, there's a lot more to talk about, all right? We've only just begun. Our number, toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are calling from. Oh man, you know, the press conference, I want to get back to that when we get back, because that Mar-a-Lago press conference was amazing. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll also take your calls after the break, but no drone calls, please. I know Friday's open phones, and we may fall victim to that on Friday, but no drone calls today, if you don't mind. By the way, on Christmas morning on our radio station, we're not going to be here live. It's going to be Christmas music live in the morning, Christmas morning, right here on our radio stations. We'll be right back. Guys, I just pinned in the chat a link to this podcast. If you could check out this podcast, it's today's sponsor, Diary of an Anxious Girly. It's a podcast about anxiety. It's available on Spotify, and they're sponsoring the program today. If you could click that link, it is pinned in the chat. Diary of an Anxious Girly. The episodes are short and sweet, which are very nice. You can see 14 minutes, 18 minutes, 4 minutes. The episodes are quick listens. Diary of an Anxious Girly. Check it out. Any of you suffer from anxiety, you know someone who does? Diary of an Anxious Girly covers it all. So check it out. The link, again, pinned in the live chat. So click that link. If you could follow that podcast on Spotify, I'd greatly appreciate it. Click that link and follow.
We'll do Barry out after the last break.
Coming out, yeah, calling, yeah. So
call
I might
Barry
take the
first.
break a couple of minutes early.
Sure.
Because I don't want to be end it and it'd be time for a break again.
Yeah, no, makes sense. Alright. I'll call him at 7:45 break, and then we'll come in up. It'll be like a minute and a half for that last.
That's right. I'll be right back, guys. None? No. Okay. We will be back shortly, guys. If you're on hold, hang in there.
At the bio station, Let's Go Away, Dr. Mitch Cortez, expert in hormone replacement therapy, is here to help you reclaim your youth. Hormone replacement therapy is all natural and can restore your hormones to where they were in your 20s. You'll feel younger, have more energy, and even get...
Did you guys click that link and follow that podcast? I hope you did. Please do.
Therapy can completely stop and reverse the signs and symptoms of menopause. No more mood swings, better sleep, and no more night sweats. Call Dr. Matez for a free consultation today at 561-320-8893. That's 561-320-8893.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig, celebrating 47 years on the air.
Absolutely. Welcome back. If you're on hold, hang in there. 1-888-465-2631. We've covered a lot, but mainly I've been talking about this incredible press conference yesterday President Trump had. And remember, you know, that press conference was President Trump's first press conference since beating this wino, homewrecker, alcoholic Kamala Harris. That was a great one, too. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, brother Brian.
Hey, what's up?
You beat me to the punch, man. But you have to say the art of the deal, because when he did that live, I couldn't believe he was. It's in its blood. When he was trying to sell the Chinese currency $2 billion, that was absolutely perfection. The people who have never read the book, The Art of the Deal, you saw it live right there. And the Asian guy had about 2 seconds before he gave his real response, like, "Oh, am I going to be committed?"
He's given 100 billion with a B. He almost said, I thought he was going to say yes for a second. He almost did. What I thought was, I said to my wife, I said, watch, Trump wants 150 billion. So he said 200. Let's see if he comes back with the 150 billion. And he almost did. He almost did.
If you didn't see it, guys, if you didn't see it last night, you got to go back and watch that moment, those 10 seconds when he went in and committed to the spirit. That was so funny. Anyway, have a good day, y'all. Bye.
All right, yes. He had something brilliant to say, but I stole his thunder. I don't know, whatever. All right, so let's get back. This is the press coverage. This is talking about these Islamic Muslim terrorists that are holding Americans, Israelis, Jews hostage. Listen.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to comment on the Putin question, but I will comment on Bibi. We had a very good talk. We discussed what is going to happen, and I'll be very available on January 20th, and we'll see. As you know, I gave warning that if these hostages aren't back home by that day, all hell's going to break out. And very strong.
Okay, yeah, I mean, this is amazing. And I'm curious, you know, do you know an award was given, this is not a joke, to Anti-Semite of the Year? Do you know who won it? And they accepted it like it was an honor, Candace Owens. I'm curious to see how Candace Owens and others react to this. You know, in what world is it okay to take civilian hostages? To liberals? You know, I've been telling you guys that the Democrats are trying to do to the Democrat Party what Trump did with the Republican establishment, right? There's no more Republican establishment. It's over. And the Democrats are trying to purge from their ranks these poisoned people that they view, rightly so, as having caused their massive defeat or been in large part responsible for it. AOC was trying to get a senior leadership position on a committee. She wanted to be the Democrat leader of a committee, and the Democrats stopped it. They voted against it. So AOC has been kind of like demoted because they know that all this wokeism, the American people don't want it. That's one of the reasons there's a bit of a change in the tone of the media with President Trump. Now, here's President Trump talking about the deportations of these illegal gang members.
Mass deportation plans. If you have any preliminary discussions with countries like Venezuela, from where the Trinidad Aragua gang is now popping up.
They'll take them back.
They're going to take them back.
They're all taking them back, yep. And if they don't, they'll be met very harshly economically. Okay, they'll all take them back. You know, Venezuela and other countries were not behaving very well with us during my administration, and within 24 hours they were behaving very well. They'll all take them back.
Okay. You know, it's amazing. You know, there's an old saying with teachers, some people do, some people teach. Those who can't teach gym or something. What's that old joke? You know, you go back to all of our past presidents, other than Donald Trump. What do any of them do? They don't do jack. They have meaningless press conferences where they say nothing and do nothing. In this press conference yesterday, we actually saw a working president working to do things. You know, I was talking earlier with that caller from Jersey. You know, he's using the pardon of Eric Adams as a bit of an incentive to get Eric Adams to play ball in New York with what has to be done with deportations and other things. You know, and foreign aid, okay, foreign aid. Foreign aid, when I was younger and I didn't understand the way of the world, I thought foreign aid was a bad thing. It's not if it's used properly. The purpose of foreign aid isn't just to make a bunch of cartel guys in Latin America rich. It's power. So you use the foreign aid to get these countries to do what it is that the United States wants them to do. And if they don't do what you want them to do, you cut the foreign aid and they'll cave. Same thing with the tariffs, the import taxes. Look what's happened, okay? And the liberals keep calling import taxes tariffs because they don't want to come out openly against any tax because they love taxes so much. But look what's happened. It was reported yesterday that Trudeau, the governor of Canada, as President Trump calls him, the Canadian governor is going to resign as prime minister. Think about that. That is amazing. He's been deposed by Trump. Trump's not even the president yet. But the threat of an increase in... President Trump did two things. This guy, Trudeau, is a poison person. He's involved in all kinds of globalist, corrupt backroom dealings with corrupt gangsters that are running this country right now. On top of the fact, he's an arrogant jerk who's in love with himself, okay? But Trump is responsible for him resigning. He hasn't done it yet, but he's expected to. One of his deputies did yesterday. Now some are saying, well, he just doesn't want to lose, so he's going to resign so he doesn't go out a loser. That may be true, but none of that would have happened if it was not for Trump. And Trump did two things that's resulted in the end of Trudeau as governor of Canada. One of them is the import taxes, the tariffs. Oh, they're terrible. They raised the tariffs. They're terrible. We just got Canada to do what we want. Get rid of this boy leader they have who's screwing everything up. He's only prime minister because his daddy was prime minister back when Clinton was president. Okay? That's it. He's a monster, Trudeau. Look at the way he treated those truck drivers. They were sending police officers to people's homes for Facebook posts during that in Canada. He's a tyrant like Zelensky. So the threat of the raising of the tariffs that the liberals tell us are so bad was part one. But part two, what President Trump did was so brilliant. So brilliant. Started saying, well, maybe we should annex Canada. We give them so much foreign aid and make them a state. And I don't think I'm the only American that was in shock to learn that we give foreign aid to Canada. Canada's a first world country. We shouldn't be giving them 10 cents. But we are. So it started to turn opinion against Canada. But what he really did, though, it was the import taxes, that. But the main thing is, he did something with Trudeau that ended Trudeau's career politically. And he did it in a short time in the last 2 weeks. He's made Trudeau an object of ridicule, right? He talked about annexing Canada, making it a state, started calling him Governor Trudeau. Trudeau came down here and kissed Trump's butt like a coward. Remember I told you he doesn't look like a leader of a major nation. He looks like a girl coming down here, sucking up and kissing up and doing all this stuff. How embarrassing. I felt bad for Canadians. We have no problem with Canada. We got a problem with Trudeau. Canadians are awesome, except the French Canadians, okay, that come down here after the new year to Hollywood Beach. But yeah, he made Trudeau an object of ridicule. And any politician who becomes an object of ridicule is done. We've seen this happen many times with many politicians in this country. I'm not going to go through any examples of it now. I've done it many times. But calling him Governor Trudeau, that was the beginning of the end. They've run him out. So he knows he's going to lose, so he's going to resign. Trump got the Mexican president to use the army to stop the illegals from marching. He's got France caved. Remember, we were talking about that last week when he went to Notre Dame. And now President Trump has overthrown the corrupt, left-wing, globalist prime minister of Canada. And he's not even president yet. Wow. It's pretty amazing. Oh, yeah, and he got this Japanese guy to invest $100 billion with a B dollars in America yesterday and create 100,000 jobs in the technical field, specifically in the AI wing of it. Pretty amazing, and he's not even president yet. Let's take our last break of the second hour. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on The Steve Kane Show.
Sloman's and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with professional installation offer is here. Yep, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 True Oldies listeners who call 833-283-5050 will get this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman Shield. And that's not all. Sloman's will give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman Shield. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
Rhodes Law Group of Delray Beach understands winning. As a member of the American Academy of Attorneys $100 million club, they've proven time and again that winning for you is their habit. Don't wait to suffer an accident. Download their app today. Be prepared and be protected by placing Rhodes Injury Law in the palm of your hand. Download their mobile app now at robes.app. That's ROBES.app. Click on robeslawgroup.com or call them today at 561-570-5700. Rhodes Law Group. Winning for you and our community. Offices throughout Palm Beach County.
Take on the social justice warriors for breakfast. Now, the Steve Kane.
All righty, we're back 45 minutes after the hour. It is time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hey, Brian, good morning.
All right, what do you have for us this morning?
Well, what I have this morning is, of course, we all know we're not going to all be here forever. And some of us may, while we're still here, have to deal with loss of mental capacity as well. So those two things can either be planned for, or if they're not planned for, then we're going to have to deal with going to court. Either you, yourself, or your loved ones. If it's a probate estate, you'll be gone, and your loved ones will have to deal with that. Going to court, hiring lawyers, spending a lot of money, a lot of time before the assets are transferred to the beneficiaries. It's a public process, and you have a judge involved making decisions that doesn't know you or your family. So pretty much same thing with guardianship. If you lose your mental capability and you don't have it set up as to who would step in by having a trust naming who your successor trustee is, your family's going to be dealing with going to court and hiring attorneys, spending a ton of money, and taking a lot of time to end up having a judge choose who that guardian might be, who may or may not be who you would have wanted. So if you want to make sure that things are going to run smoothly and be the way that you want them to be, and not leave it to chance and have to spend a ton of money for that chance, then you want to make sure that you have a plan in place. And by setting up an estate plan that works, you can make sure that your family doesn't have to deal with all of that stress.
Yeah, and the Siegel Law Group, if you mentioned you heard Attorney Barry Siegel on the radio, will review your trust at no charge. In fact, when you reviewed Steve Kane's trust when we first met you, Barry, and his trustee had passed away, was dead. There was no, which would have been a disaster for his family. Listen, give the Siegel Law Group a call. They can help you no matter where you are in the state of Florida. The number is toll-free, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. And online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk tomorrow. Or take care. Or the day after tomorrow. I've lost track. It's almost Christmas. All right, so let's get back to it. Our number, 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. So I want to get back to this press conference that President Trump had. You know, this press conference was, again, President Trump's first press conference since he won re-election. And it was a pretty powerful one. I mean, and it went on for a long time. It was, what, 90 minutes? It went by quick. I've seen it twice. And I've been playing what I consider to be some of the highlights. But this is him talking about this monster that shot dead the insurance company CEO, that the left are turning into some kind of sex symbol and role model or something.
Healthcare shooting, the shooting of the CEO. Can you give us your thoughts about that? And what do you make of the reaction around this?
First off, what a dumb question. Can you give us your thoughts on them? What? It's terrible. He's against it. I mean, what a stupid question. You know, and this is, I don't know who this idiot is. He's familiar, so I feel like I should know him. Is he MSNBC? Is he CNN? I don't know. He's familiar. He's not Fox. Griff Jenkins was there from Fox standing next to this loser. But, you know, the way that questions are phrased by these fake news reporters, that gives legitimacy to the murder. You know, as what I was talking about earlier, liberals believe if you disagree with them, you should be dead. And I've said that for years. People think I'm nuts. Look at how they are with this CEO.
United Healthcare shooting, the shooting of the CEO. Can you give us your thoughts about that? And what do you make of the reaction around the suspected shooter? Does that
Yeah. I think it's a terrible thing. I think it's really terrible that some people seem to admire him, like him. And I was happy to see that it wasn't specific to this gentleman that was killed. It's just an overall sickness as opposed to a specific sickness. That was a terrible thing. It was cold-blooded, just a cold-blooded, horrible killing. And how people can like this guy is, that's a sickness, actually. That's really very bad. Especially the way it was done. It was so bad, right in the back. And very bad, thing like that, you can't believe that some people, and maybe it's fake news, I don't know. It's hard to believe that can even be thought of, but it seems that there's a certain appetite for him. I don't get it. Yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, what a dumb question, right? What did they think he was going to say? It's because whatever fake news outlet that idiot's from, they're soft on the killer, right? They think it's okay because they don't like healthcare companies. I don't know why they think people that run healthcare companies, insurance companies should be dead. I don't quite get that. I mean, you know, Trump kills the Iranian general that oversees all the Islamic terrorism on the planet, and they think that's a bad thing. You get some serial killer rapist on death row who's going to be executed 25 years after their murders, and you got a bunch of liberals out front singing songs and burning candles begging them not to execute the person. But here you got a guy who's a CEO of a company in an industry they don't like, never broke a law in his life. He's a family man, a father, a husband, and they want him, they're celebrating his death. But Soleimani, oh, how could he do that? What's wrong with these people? They're out of their freaking minds. That's what's wrong with them. You know, another thing he talked about too, which he talked about in his first term, I'm not going to play the clip from it, but he was talking yesterday about privatizing the post office. Now, that sounds like a pretty good idea to me. I don't think they're going to privatize the post office, but they could certainly reduce its size. I mean, do you remember when a time in your life when you saw the mailman come by, you would immediately go out to the mailbox? Do you do that anymore? If you've got something coming, it's usually coming from Amazon, maybe, right? But I know how and I've been checking my mail this way for years. I check my mail every couple of days. I got Saturday's mail yesterday with Monday's mail. I don't care, you know, because there's nothing there. You know, the only thing that's really that's keeping the post office viable today are all this junk mail advertisements I get in the mail. And what I usually do, I do this pretty much every week. Rarely am I waiting for something. I'm paying a little more attention because I'm getting Christmas cards, you know. But other than the Christmas cards, not much is coming that doesn't go in the garbage. And what I do a lot of times, you know, we have garbage twice a week. I check the mail. When I got the I put my garbage cans next to the mailbox, okay? That's when I check the mail. And then I throw pretty much everything in the garbage can. It is such a waste. How much of the government is that wasteful? I don't know. Probably most of it. You know, the days of mail, I mean, you know, when's the last time you wrote a letter? What I've gotten in the mail in the last week, okay? I'll count all the Christmas cards I've gotten as one thing, because I've gotten Christmas cards from people. But other than that, there was only one piece of mail that I needed. And you know what it was? I want to thank Ron DeSantis for this. It was my homeowner's insurance telling me that my homeowner's insurance is going up again next year. And that it went up so much last year, I owe them a little bit more money for this current year. That's it. Thank you, Ron DeSantis. What's Ron DeSantis doing about that, by the way? You know, yesterday, they brought up they asked President Trump if he thought DeSantis was going to make Larry Trump the senator. He says he doesn't think so. You know, this Senate nomination, well, it's not a nomination, it's an appointment. Whoever he chooses to be the U.S. Senator to replace Marco Rubio for the next 2 years is Ron DeSantis's really last time to get into the fold. But I got a letter for what my homeowner's insurance is going to be next year. Holy smokes. It's gone up again. And, you know, it's gone up in past years, but so little, I don't even pay attention. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a lot. And I opened it up, and I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? You know, this is nuts. This is why people are leaving Florida and can't afford to buy houses. And how can you even afford if you have a home to rent it? You know? And what's Ron DeSantis doing? Nothing. There's two things that are going on with homeowners in this state right now that are pretty bad. The homeowner's insurance cost is through the roof. Through the roof. It's really bad, you know? And if you have a commercial property or a rental property, you don't have the homestead exemption on, that I can only imagine if I did not have, you know, people have homestead exemption on their taxes. So you've got your insurance and your taxes. You know, what people are paying between homeowners taxes and insurance is through the roof. And I haven't heard Ron DeSantis even mention doing something about the homeowners insurance problem. And I know a lot of people say, well, you've got hurricanes in Florida. I got news for you. There's always been hurricanes in Florida. I've never seen something like this. And there's been incredibly devastating hurricanes, much worse than anything we've seen in the last few years because we have better construction and different codes than they had long ago. You know what it is? He's a do-nothing government bureaucrat who doesn't know how to do squat, okay? He gets credit for doing all this stuff. He's done very little, not just on this, on anything. Then I saw a story today on the local news in Miami. There's, you know, they've been doing, since that collapse in Miami of that building, which, you know, that part of Miami Beach where that building collapsed is one of the most run-down areas of beachfront property. You wouldn't, it's the old Miami Beach. It's really bad. I mean, some of those places, and I've mentioned many times, that building collapsed because of the construction next door. You know, they're putting the pylons or whatever it is into the ground. They caused earthquakes. They caused a seismic event in the area, and they collapsed the building and killed all those people. So they're doing these inspections of all of the condos within a certain distance from the ocean now. And I saw a story on one of the local news stations. By the way, that's me getting email, guys, not you guys at home. I have my computer hooked up to the board, so my email notification went out over the air. But there was a story on how many of the condos on the beach are sinking. People's entire investment in their homes is being wiped out before our eyes all over this state because of these condo assessments. And Ron DeSantis is sitting around on his high heels, not doing jack about it. And people, and every homeowner, our homeowners' insurance rates are through the roof. I'm so sick and tired of people praising DeSantis. DeSantis sucks. And I'd be saying that even if he didn't betray Trump. He sucks. He's the worst. He's never had a real job outside of the government. And people that work in government all their life just don't get it. I don't know why all the buildings in Miami and Florida, this isn't just Miami, it's Florida, are sinking. Look at Manhattan. Tiny little island. The skyscrapers are in the sky on that little island of Manhattan. I don't see them tearing all those buildings down, but the ones in Miami? People have multi-million-dollar homes that are worth nothing now. And what's DeSantis doing? Nothing. I want to talk about the free doorbell camera offer from Sloman's. Guys, this is a great Christmas gift to give for your mom, your dad, your adult children, or for your own family in your own home. And you can get a doorbell camera for free that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. That's right. Sloman's is also going to give you a free customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. They're going to give you an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts for your doors and windows, a lifetime warranty, a backup battery, and a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take a break for the top of the hour. Steve Kane will be joining us, and we'll get back to your calls, and there's a lot more to talk about as well. We've only just begun. I want to say one last thing, though. These condo inspections are getting condos condemned. $1 million condos getting condemned with these. The inspections of Disney by the state of Florida, the first inspection since the construction from a year ago, have just been released. Shocker. Disney passed all the inspections that they've done so far, we're finding. But these people are losing everything on the beach throughout the entire state of Florida. If you don't think, if you disagree with me and you think Ron DeSantis is great, please tell me what he's doing about these things. I'm sorry, I got upset. I got my homeowner's insurance increase in the mail yesterday. All right? We'll be right back.
W 104.3 HD3 Miramar, WIRK 103.1 HD3 Indiantown, and her in Broward on 96.9 FM, Boca Raton on 95.3 FM, West Palm Beach on 95.9 FM,
If you're on hold, hang in there.
and in Martin County on 106.9 FM. Programming paid for by Vic Canales Media Group. Your home for the Steve Kane Show. From the All-Year Cooling Weather Center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Maroon from the All-Year Cooling Weather Center. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, and right now it's 72 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 79 degrees with partly cloudy conditions to start the day and with thunderstorms expected.
Steve, you there?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
So make sure you keep an umbrella close by, stay warm, stay dry, and have a wonderful start.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Weather brought to you by All-Year Cooling. Enjoy free AC replacement estimates along with same-day service and installation. Visit allyearcooling.com to schedule your service today. And remember, the All-Year family is here to serve your family all year long. And now, a true oldies traffic check. Brought to you by the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
There's a crash going on in West Palm Beach. This traffic report is sponsored by eBay. Along 45th Street at Military Trail is where there's a crash going on. And there's some heavy delays right now on Lake Worth Road approaching I-95 both directions. And on I-95, it's slow between Lantana Road and 6th Street South. We've all got a thing, yes, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cars, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay, things people love. That's traffic. I'm Beverly Redmond Steele.
A service of the Palm Beach Kennel Club.
I don't know, that Richmond, north of Richmond guy, there's something up with that guy. John Rich offered him a record deal, and he turned it down. Why would he turn, John Rich is huge, millions of dollars he turned down. What's up with that? That's something strange about that guy. Didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Sloman's and their free home security system and free doorbell camera with
If you're on hold, hang in there.
is here. Yep, finally some great news. How would you like a free doorbell camera? You get a doorbell camera, you get a doorbell camera, and you can get a doorbell camera. The first 40 True Oldies listeners who call 833
No.
283
There's something else with that.
this limited time offer of a free doorbell camera that connects directly to your smartphone with installation of your Sloman Shield. And that's not all.
You want billionaires in the cabinet. That's a sign of success. And they can't be corrupted. They're rich already. They can't be bought off.
Monitoring. So you're going to get an LED touchscreen pad, 10 contacts, backup battery, and service plan. Plus, if you're one of the first 40 True Oldies listeners to call 833-283-5050, you'll receive a free doorbell camera with installation of your Sloman Shield. Keep your family safe. Call 833-283-5050. That's 1-833-283-5050.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Hi, I'm Swordsman. We love our Florida sunshine, but a hot house? Definitely not. At All Year, we offer same-day AC service and installation. Need to stay cool? Yes, all year. Need help today? Yes, all year. Zero down financing? Yes, all year. We're South Florida's #1 for comfort because our family is serving your family all year. Call us today at 833-ALL-YEAR. That's 833-ALL-YEAR.
Hi, it's Brian Craig. Let me ask you this. Are you planning on retiring in the next 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, at any point in your life? Or are you already retired? Listen, economically, it's a mess with the stock market ups and downs and inflation out of control. In fact, it's the highest inflation rate in 40 years. You need a plan of action for your retirement plans. You need the advice of a retirement expert who can help you protect your money, guarantee your income, and stop losing money. Joe Thomas is president of Retirement Network Advisors, South Florida's premier retirement experts, and has been for over 20 years. He's seen it all and is a true professional that you can trust. They're family-owned and operated. His daughter Jenny works with him. You know Joe and Jenny from right here on True Oldies. He's the host of the Jupiter Joe Money Show, and he's been doing that for over a decade. You need Jupiter Joe's book, The Retirement Know-It-All. Mention my name, Brian Craig, and receive a free copy of his ebook. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999.
We'll be back shortly, guys.
743-0999. Take advantage of his free phone presentation too. Go to jupiterjoe.com or call 561-743-0999.
Hello, this is Mike at Friendly Tire. I've been in business 30 years at the same location and offering great deals on new and used tires. I have many suppliers. Whatever car or truck you have, I can get you incredible deals on any tire. I also do tire repairs at very low prices. Give me a call. My number is 954-977-9445.
Here we go. Coming back.
I'll give you a price over the phone on new and used tires. Again, my number is 954-977-9445. Thank you.
On the air since 1977, it's the Steve Kane Show with
All right, callers on hold. Stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Steve Kane joining us. Hey, Steve. Oh, boy, lots happening today.
I'm listening.
All right.
Insurance thing.
Well, you didn't get your notice in. Everybody.
Homeowners insurance.
Oh, you're self-insured.
Yes.
Oh, that's awful.
Well, I don't know how awful it is.
Get hit by a hurricane, you'll know. But you know what you're doing? Let me just say this, okay? A lot of people are doing what you're doing. Insurance rates have gone up so high that a lot of people are not renewing their homeowners policy. Yeah, well, when you get a massive hurricane and your home gets flooded, you're in big trouble.
You know, you have to.
Craig,
Risk involved.
there's a lot of risk involved. It's called that's what we call being self-insured. And what'll happen because we've got this incompetent governor, DeSantis, in charge. What'll happen? Well, I got my notice for my homeowner's insurance increase yesterday, and I started thinking about it. What a jerk he is again yesterday. And what's going to happen? We're going to have a massive hurricane at some point, God forbid, and we're going to find out that hundreds of thousands of homeowners have no insurance like Steve because the prices went up so high and DeSantis did nothing about it. And when your house gets wiped out and you don't have insurance, you're still responsible for the mortgage. All right, but anyway, you want to take some calls?
Mortgage?
Well, not everybody's loaded like you and doesn't have a mortgage. Well, no, most people that own a home have a mortgage. I mean, for the elite, yes, you can just rebuild. All right. Well, usually the elite don't, Steve. But anyway, our number 1-888-465-2631.
I'm in Brian's.
Well, you're not the average person, Steve. You have a home that is you have a mortgage-free home. Most people's home is not mortgage-free. So, I mean, you paid for it, and that's you weren't given it, but you're a rarity. That everybody's home's not paid for?
But I mean, I thought a healthy percentage, a bad percentage.
Some people are. My mother's home is paid for, but most people have mortgages. Yeah. All right, let's take some calls, though. Our number is 1-888-465-2631. What I've been talking about mostly today is the first press conference Trump has had since he won the election, and it was spectacular. It certainly was. All right, let's take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, good morning, Brian. Isn't it Rick Scott's fault more than DeSantis' because of
no.
On the federal level, and he just takes the state and stuff like that?
No, he's a senator. Senators just vote yay and nay. They don't do much. And they work on federal, not state issues. They're not. Rick Scott is not a state senator. Marco Rubio is not a state senator. They're United States senators. Big difference.
Okay. All right. Yeah, no, my homeowner's insurance has gone up just like yours. And
a lot.
It's insane.
It's a lot.
And Steve, you did pay for your home. That's smart. But as Brian said, people in Florida, have mortgages. And it's unbelievable how much my homeowner's insurance has gone up.
Yeah, and my mother was thinking about letting hers expire. And I'm like, Mom, don't do that. Because my mom's house paid for it. I was like, Mom, don't do that. Well, Steve did. It's called self-insurance.
You to do that. Yeah. We do that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's let me tell you, my neighbors, we had a hurricane about 10 years ago. I had these two 50-foot trees in my backyard that got ripped out by the hurricane and landed on my neighbor's house. And they wanted me to pay for the repairs on their house. And it was, I thought I was going to get shot. They took the stump and put it behind my car. And it was getting, they lost the house. It got foreclosed on, thank the Lord. They had no homeowners insurance. And so, they had no homeowners insurance. And they didn't have the money to do the repairs. So they were trying to get me to pay.
But you won the lottery on that one.
Let me tell you, it was these two loser brothers who were living at their dad's house. And Dad died, and they lost the house. But being self-insured, it saves you money in the short run. But you get, my 50-foot trees landing on their house caused a lot of damage, and they didn't have any way to pay for it. It's an act of God. It wasn't my fault.
Anybody listening, call them up, tell them we're fed and tired.
Yes.
Tired of this.
Yeah, I agree. Let me ask you something. Has anything changed in your life in the last week?
Besides the acceptance of having, accepting the fact that hopefully Donald Trump does the right thing, and I'm not going to go crazy like last time and just keep thinking this man.
Well, no, and I'll tell you, listen, because the reason I asked is because you sound like a normal person. I mean, the last 2 times I've talked to you, you're not angry. You're not. You sound like a nice, mentally healthy guy. You've been red pilled.
Guess what? I am a very nice guy. It's just unfortunate, okay, when I just don't, as I said, I'm not a big fan. I hope that the man says he does what he's going to do. I really do, okay? So, I listen to you.
I mean, in fact, you've changed since you've he's starting to have a relapse now. But since you have begun to recover from Trump derangement syndrome, I barely even recognize your voice. Your voice even sounds different.
Well, hey, you know what? You can't beat them, join them, right?
That's right. Well, all right. He's been red-pilled. We red-pilled him. Oh, my God. And he's been one of our most vicious callers during the election. And he's been red-pilled. That's awesome. Wow. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Listen, I have, in my property, I have the HOA, the Homeowner Association.
Yeah.
Where every year my fee, the homeowner, the HOA fee keeps increasing every single year. They don't give us any benefits, but they continue increasing the HOA fee because of the insurance.
Yes, the insurance is crazy.
Insurance companies, you know what happened after the West Coast was hit by several hurricanes continually every year? A lot of companies, supposedly, they filed for bankruptcy and they left the state.
Yeah, but that's always happened. Florida's always had hurricanes, and the damage we have now is much less than years ago because we have better construction and there's different standards for construction than they used to have. That's just an excuse.
I don't know why these companies keep charging yearly.
Because our governor, who wears high heels, okay, is an idiot and is allowing us to be ripped off.
Well, I don't think he's an idiot, but I do think he should definitely do something. And what my perception is that they donated a lot of money to his campaign. To.
Well, let me give you an example. Okay, it just came out this week. A year ago, the Florida Department of Transportation finally got into Disney World to inspect the transportation systems in Disney World. Remember, DeSantis has been fighting Disney World, and the monorails. They inspected the monorail system at Disney World. That thing breaks down all the time. Sometimes the doors open while passengers are in it traveling. And I've seen myself, pylons that hold it up are cracked. There's one at Epcot that's it's cracked and chipped of concrete everywhere. Florida Department of Transportation said all the cracks and everything are perfect. It's fine, nothing to see here. You mean to tell me they get in there to inspect Disney World for the first time in half a century? They didn't find anything wrong? But these people their condos are being condemned on the beach with this inspections that's going on throughout the state. Give me a freaking break. And DeSantis is a loser. He's a loser.
About it, but I wouldn't trust my governor like that.
Let me tell you, our governor, he got all this big publicity because he was on.
Other guy.
What other guy? Well, I would rather have DeSantis than the guy that was laying in his own vomit with a male prostitute in Miami. Okay, yes, he's better than that guy. I agree. I agree he's better than that guy. But he's not helping us now.
I think we should definitely keep the pressure on DeSantis when it comes to, the HOA, the home insurance. We should definitely call.
All right. Listen, I gotta run. I gotta run, but I appreciate the call. All right. Our number is toll free 1-888-465-2631. When we get back, we'll get back to the press conference with President Trump. But if you're on hold, stand by, okay? We'll get you your calls as well. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve Kane, of course, is here. Oh, Steve, big announcement from My Pillow. My pillow, you know, the Giza Dream Sheets, which I have every product, okay? I've got all the different sheets, but I have several sets of the Giza Dream Sheets, both the flannel and non-flannel. And, you know, Giza cotton is the finest cotton in the world. And Mike Lindell's Giza Dream Sheets are 100% Giza cotton. And Mike Lindell says, you know, there's a lot of people that advertise Giza cotton sheets. They're only 10% Giza cotton. His are 100% Giza cotton. And, you know, I've had the sheets since they first came out years ago, and you can't tell the difference between the set I bought years ago and the one I bought a couple months ago because everything Mike Lindell makes is high quality. But that fitted sheet at the bottom, what I noticed when I first got them is insane. You know, when you make your bed, that bottom fitted sheet, it's almost impossible to get on, right? You get one corner on, fine. The second corner you get on, The third corner, you get it on maybe halfway. But that fourth corner, you're using all your body strength just to get it over the edge, just enough to keep it in place. With Mike Lindell's Giza Dream Sheets at My Pillow, you can get all four corners on without any effort with 2 fingers and a thumb. Boom, 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 boom. And it's that way even after years of washing and drying. But here's the announcement. Huge discounts on the Giza Dream Sheets in all sizes. And there's still time to order for them to be delivered in time for Christmas. But not a lot, just 2 days, today and tomorrow. You got to order today or tomorrow, just 2 days left to get your Giza Dream Sheets in time for Christmas gifts. Huge savings with our promo code KANE at checkout, K-A-N-E, and free shipping on orders over $75. All right, we'll take our break and be right back.
Call the Steve Kane Show live on air now. 888-GO-KANE-1. This is the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
Brian Craig here. Our 6th annual cruise is coming up, and you're all invited. This time, we're sailing for 7 nights on Celebrity Cruise Line's newest ship, the Ascent, to Puerto Plata, St. Thomas, and St. Martin. We set sail March 30th. We have private shore excursions, private cocktail parties, group activities. We're going to go to the shows together and much, much more. Call me in at Cruise and Travel Depot right now. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. And online at cruisingdepot.com to make your reservation and lock in our private group rate. Nothing comes close to Celebrity Cruises.
Tom Laporta here from Laporta Contracting, Roofing, and Building Restoration. I am pleased to say our relationship with the Steve Kane Show and the show's listeners keeps getting stronger and stronger. The Steve Kane Show listeners are truly the best customers we have ever had. They are courteous, intelligent, honest, and quite a joy to work with. We have completed thousands of projects for the listeners, from repairs, single-family homes, large HOA complexes, and churches, with great success, and every one of those customers are like family. We have installed all kinds of roofs, from asphalt shingles, clay, and concrete tile, standing metal seam, slate tile.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
So come on, and let our family take care of your family. Call me on my cell at 954-604-46.
The show has flown by. It's 20 after 8 already? Holy smokes.
Contracting.com. The number again is 954-604-4602.
When it comes to dental work, there's no one better than Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. But don't just take my word for it. This is Richie the bus driver. He called in on the air to share his experience with Dr. Gupta. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Richie. Dr. Gupta. I go 139 miles to this guy. I had a broken tooth. He fixed it. It was supposed to be temporary. It lasted 2 years. He put dentures in my mouth that are a lot cheaper than anybody else. And he's excellent and no pain. I recommend this guy. To me, he's the best ever. So I want to get that out of the way.
Listen to Richie the bus driver. Go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. 954-922-4633.
All right, we're coming back, guys. Hey, how's it going?
I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain.
If you're on hold, hang in there.
Tingling in my hands and feet. Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation. 754-222-6642.
Now back to the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Steve is here. You back with us, Steve?
Yeah, can I change the subject?
Well, yeah. Well, you know.
I wanted to ask him about the shooting.
What about it?
That's what I wanted to ask him.
I don't know really too much about it. I know this, that Biden yesterday, I got a question for Biden, though. Okay? Biden yesterday, after this tragic shooting, talked about the need for gun control, right? How does this guy have the guts to come out I should say not the guts, the nerve to come out and again talk about gun control when he just gave his son a pardon on federal gun charges?
Answer to that.
Mm.
That's because that's what they always do, the left.
What?
Anytime there's a school shooting, they bring up gun control.
Yeah, but you think he'd lie low? He just gave his son a pardon on a federal gun charge.
Low. This guy doesn't know to lie low.
Yeah.
But anyway, there was a point I was going to make here. I was watching television all day yesterday. I couldn't tell at the end of the day, and I can't tell now, in fact, exactly anything about this crime or boycott on information.
Yeah. I don't know too much about it. I didn't really follow it. I mean, I know it's a girl. I mean, you know.
Major break in the program.
Not really. It was a girl that shot up that. The transgender, the one in Nashville. These recent shootings have.
I don't think you can name me another.
No, these recent shootings have been by women and trans people. There was the Nashville school shooter. This one. There was one in Kentucky. There's been it's been very outside the norm. Like and of course the most recent shooter was before the one yesterday was this leftist lunatic monster that killed the healthcare executive. So there's a epidemic of liberal radical leftist killing people in this country. That's what's going on, and it's a new pattern. I know they want to make everybody Klebold and Harris, but that's not the case.
He incorporated the gay thing in.
Well, that's why, you know, because the shootings that have been taking place the last couple years have been mostly by radical leftists. Okay, that's why you're not seeing too much coverage on the television.
It was weird. I mean,
That's why it doesn't fit.
How long I was watching.
If they were wearing a MAGA hat, that's all you'd hear.
Well, we answered the question.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't. You know, but all these shootings of late have been leftist.
No story here, though.
I'm sure there's a story. I just haven't followed it.
It hasn't. No, the reason you haven't heard it is because there hasn't been one released. Details of the shooting. It's remarkable.
I could probably pull up some details if we wanted to during the break at the bottom. I just am. I'm kind of. I'm shooter out. I mean, I'm just not into talking about those things. But I'll look it up during the break and give you some intel if you want it. You want it?
Good, because I haven't heard it anywhere else.
All right. Well, let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. I'm calling from Fort Lauderdale. Larry. Hey, couple quick things. One, I like Governor DeSantis. I do put some responsibility on him, but also the legislature for the high insurance costs. But it's because of lawsuits.
Please.
Of all homeowner lawsuits in the country are in Florida, 70% of them. And it's also because of fraud. The claims that are made, many claims are fraudulent, and it just eats up the cost.
No.
Homeowner's insurance, even if he doesn't have hurricane insurance, because a liability loss can wipe him out.
Well, you know, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, if Governor DeSantis were like a real leader, you know, as opposed to a guy who's done nothing but work for the government his whole life and doesn't, you know, well, because he's the boss. Being the governor, he's like the president of Florida, right? You know. Well, this is what I would like him to do, and he should have done this a couple years ago when this crisis first began, and that is get together with the heads of the insurance companies and work something out. I don't mean a speech. I don't mean get up on his high heel shoes and make a speech. I mean actually get that we have an insurance commissioner. Get the insurance commissioner, get him in a room with some experts, and get this worked out so people are not without insurance.
It's the lawyers' lobby. They really need to go again.
It's everybody's fault but DeSantis. What do you like about DeSantis?
I think he's a good leader.
What's he done that's good? What has he done that's good as a leader?
Yeah, that's difficult to say.
Well, then how can you say he's a good leader if you don't have an example?
Because it's my opinion.
But your opinion should be based on something.
I'll sit down and like you said.
Sit down. Do you think Trump's a good? Do you think Trump's a good leader?
I do, absolutely.
Can you think of it? Okay, can you give an example of his great leadership?
Well, I love the idea of tariffs, and I know.
Okay. So you don't have to go any further. Why can you? You're in Fort Lauderdale. You're a Floridian. Why can you, without even thinking, just give examples of great leadership for Trump, but DeSantis? Well, I got to sit down later and take some notes. Why?
Well, when the bridge collapsed over in the Fort Myers area, he took leadership, and in 2 weeks, they were able to get supplies and materials over to that island. One example.
Yep.
Okay. Our elections.
What did he do about that?
Well, he's making sure that our election.
Yeah. No, he did something crooked. He did something very crooked. They changed Florida laws so he could run for president while remaining governor. He changed the law. He changed the election laws so he could run. That doesn't sound. But there is something good coming. There is a bill in the Florida legislature that I hope he passes. Okay, that he signs and it gets through, where we're going to have open carry in Florida. No more of this concealed carry stuff. And I've wanted open carry forever. So we actually have a good chance of getting that. So if he gets behind that and makes that happen, I'll say something nice about him. Yeah, I'll be happy, and I'll have my gun, have my Glock.
Yeah, a lot of my focus, because things are so well in Florida, has been on President Trump. I'm so excited. He's a leadership. I want to get. I'm going to be retiring in the next 4 or 5 years, and I'm excited.
Let me tell you about DeSantis, okay? DeSantis, he was on Trump's coattails when he was fake MAGA. When he was pretending to be MAGA, he was on Trump's coattails, and he looked good, and he said good things and everything else. But when it comes actually down to it, there these two things I was talking about in the last hour are big deals, okay? The homeowners insurance is a big problem. It's causing a lot of problems in Florida. But the other thing is, all these retirees are losing their condos. They got condos. Some of the he's got these assessors going through all the condos, not just on the beach, but I forget the mileage, but within a certain number of miles from the beach. And people are finding out that their homes that they plan on living in until they're dead, sometimes they're worth millions of dollars, are condemned. And it's a big problem. But somehow Disney, with their first inspection in 50 years, passed. Come on.
Well, you're more upset because you go to Disney, I doubt.
I haven't been to Disney in over a year. No, I don't. I haven't been in over a year.
Yeah.
All right. Appreciate the call. I appreciate the call. You can laugh at me if you want. All right. It's time for our break. We'll be right back.
It's the Steve Kane Show with Brian Craig. The greatest rock and roll hits of the 60s and 70s coming up this morning. From the all-year cooling weather center, South Florida's #1 choice for same-day AC service and installation. Here's your oldies forecast.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Michael Maroon from the all-year cooling weather center. Today is Tuesday, December 17th, 2024, and right now it's 72 degrees outside. As we go throughout the day, though, temperatures are going to reach as high as 79 degrees, with partly cloudy conditions to start the day, and with thunderstorms expected around the afternoon hours. So make sure you keep it in
Mike Lindell is offering wholesale pricing for Christmas. The standard MyPillow, just $14.88. They've never been offered this low before. That's right, just $14.88. And free shipping on orders over $75. So go to MyPillow.com right now and use our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and get the standard MyPillow for just $14.88. The lowest price ever. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane.
Now, back to the Steve Kane Show.
All right, I got a little information on your shooter, Steve, but which I'll get to in a minute. I'll give out our number. It's 1-888-465-2631. You know, I saw this yesterday, and what they're doing in the, you know, the media are not, the news are not in the business of reporting the news. They're in the business of covering up the news, right? Because they have agendas. And, you know, when they have these Columbine-like shooters, you know everything about them. But you get leftist shooters, and they try to tell you that they want you to think that shooting people is some type of conservative thing, which is insane.
Anything that would indicate that part of the shooter's motivation?
Yeah, I'm getting to that. Yeah, I'm getting to that. Okay, the shooter yesterday, a girl who's a liberal, hardcore liberal. I'll share that with you in a moment. Okay, so the shooter yesterday is a liberal. The guy that murdered the healthcare executive is a liberal. Both of the Trump assassins, liberal, never Trumpers. Okay, so you're not getting the media coverage about shootings that you would normally get because the shooters are all liberals. So that doesn't fit their stereotype, right? So that's why you're not hearing about it. Which one?
Both of them.
The healthcare guy, we know he was a leftist. He killed you know, that's why the left are embracing him. The guy that shot Trump and the one that tried to shoot him here at the golf course, never Trumpers, liberals. And the girl shooter yesterday, 15-year-old, right? She had a manifesto, and they don't want the manifesto out there. In the manifesto, which they're saying has not yet been confirmed as being hers, she's a hardcore she's no longer with us, but she's a hardcore radical feminist. In her manifesto, she said this. Now, again, the manifesto has not been confirmed to be hers yet, but, you know. The manifesto connected to yesterday's shooter says this, quote, "Every single male must be wiped out, from babies to the elderly. Only then will women be free to create a new world," unquote. Yeah, that's leftist. That's leftist. And I want to pull this. I wasn't going to play I played it earlier in the show. Let me pull something up. Did you hear Mayor Adams talking about the healthcare executive assassin?
No.
Okay, let me pull this up because Mayor Adams, and I don't care if he wants a pardon or not, he's making a lot of sense. So this shooter yesterday, based on what I'll just go through the high-profile shootings as of late. Based on what we know now this could change. Yesterday's shooter is a radical, what Rush would call a feminazi, right? Radical feminazi, the shooter yesterday, according to what information we have now. The shooter of the healthcare executive, a radical leftist, right? He's out there fighting against healthcare billionaires and millionaires. The two Trump shooters, including the one that shot him and the one that tried to shoot him, they're not MAGA either, okay? They're leftist, never Trumpers. And Mayor Adams yesterday, and this is the way it is, and that's why you're not hearing about them, okay? But yesterday, Mayor Eric Adams of New York City was talking about the Luigi, the leftist that murdered in his city, the healthcare executive. And Mayor Adams, what he said is spot on, right on the money. Listen.
Think about the shooter.
Ivy League, grew up in an affluent household. His manifesto clearly is showing some signs of hating. Our children are being radicalized. I said this over and over again. Everybody's like, what are you talking about, Eric? Our children are being radicalized to hate the America, to hate the country that put them where they are. This person had all that one wants to have, but he hated everything to the point of shooting someone. And we better deal with the radicalization of our young people. And, people could, they could complain that I'm saying it, but I'm seeing it. I'm seeing our bench is hating the team. And we better start acknowledging and focusing on that. And so having dance parties, celebrating the death of someone, I don't support that.
Okay, so that's Adams yesterday talking about the healthcare shooter. And he's right. These are radical leftists that are radicalized by the colleges, the school system, the media.
Hysteria going around. Look, it's not hard to tie this hysteria which is going around today to the anti-Trump movement.
Yeah. All of them. All the shooters are leftist. Every one, radical leftist. And Steve, well, she hasn't shot anybody, though. These people are shooting people, okay? These people are shooting people. And look at the reaction of the left to the healthcare shooter. They're turning him into some type of sex symbol and icon. And in many ways, even a role model. I was watching, I saw this online over the weekend. There was a concert somewhere, and they had the assassin's picture up behind them during the concert.
Yeah.
And Adams could not be more right than he was right there, and that's the discussion, And the media aren't showing you. I give you an example. These two Trump assassins, we know nothing about them. This guy Luigi, we know everything about him, but we don't know anything about these Trump assassins. They're trying to tell us that the guy that shot him in Butler's a Republican. BS. He may have changed his registration to vote against him in the primary, but he's no Republican. There's the guy that at the golf course, we know nothing about him, and he's sitting in a jail here in Florida. Well, he was wearing a pink shirt. I mean, I wouldn't.
I don't know what they call it, but when you make the shirt like a woman.
Oh, I thought they just got pulled up during the arrest. I don't know. But we know nothing about that guy. How long was he in Florida? How did he get the gun? Where was he staying? Nothing. Same thing with the guy in Butler.
That story.
Well, they're trying to cover all of them up. And the shooter yesterday, let me tell you, this is the first school shooting I've seen where there's like less than zero coverage. You're right. There was very little coverage of this on television. And there's very little.
About 11 o'clock. And I didn't find out that it was a girl, which I was shocked about. Because the one thing, as I say, that usually you can count on is that these school shooting people are usually guys. But till I think it was...
Not lately. It's changing. Steve, that's changing. In the past, they were men. It's changing. They're leftist feminazis. Just like the Nashville shooter who shot the little babies, okay? A leftist feminist. So no, that is the way it used to be. She was transgender. Mm-hmm.
Feminine.
Well, it's both. They go one and the same. A feminist a transgender. They're also that, but they're all leftist. They're all leftist. And by the way, I don't think they ever were conservative. These shooters. This guy, this monster that shot up the school in Parkland, I don't think was a conservative. Listen, we're going to take our last break of the day for the Gold Report, but you're welcome to share your thoughts on all of this. Our number's toll free, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
The cold, hard truth. Delivered morning 6 to 9 right here on the...
All righty, and it's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with the Morning Gold and Precious Metals Report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking on this Tuesday?
Metals are pulling back a little bit, giving us a little buying opportunity at the lower end of the trading ranges again. And that being said, gold yesterday traded in a range of about $23 from $2,643 on the low to $2,666 on the high, and closed out the day up $4.90 at $26.5240. Silver closed down 3 cents at $30.49. Platinum was up $12 at $9.36, and palladium closed out the day down $8 at $9.28. Overnight, we saw gold trade in a range of $26.34 to $26.59, and closed right now we're at $26.40 on gold. That's down $12.40. Silver down 19 cents at $30.30 the ounce. Platinum down $6 at $930, and palladium down $16 at $912. So again, great buying opportunity at the lower end of the ranges.
Yeah, yesterday we were talking, because Christmas is next week. You have that make great Christmas gifts, by the way, but they're also great if you're just interested in acquiring the metals. You have gold bars that really start in very small sizes, and you also have a lot of coins that are in those carded that make great gifts. Can you talk a little bit about that as Christmas is right around the corner?
We have a lot of beautiful gold bars as small as 1 gram gold bars, and even have platinum bars as low as 1 gram. So, something affordable for everybody, just to have a little bit of gold, platinum. And of course, silver comes in everything from 1 ounce sizes up. And we have some very beautiful silver coins from different countries that make up a nice little portfolio of somebody who wants to just maybe put together a collection of silver coins that represent some history from different countries and make beautiful, beautiful gifts.
Absolutely. So, stop in and talk to William Youngerman and his crew over there, and they'll walk you through everything. You'll find some great gifts for your kids, your grandkids, or for yourself. All right, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. His address, 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. You can give him a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And find both his phone number and address online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll talk tomorrow. All right, we'll be right back.
Take on the social justice warriors for breakfast.
All right, we're back. I wanted to play this one soundbite from the Trump press conference yesterday. I started the show with this at 6, and this to me was, it may not seem this way to you, Steve, or maybe most of you listening, but I think this was one of the most, if not the most important thing that he said. Now, he talked about a lot of important things, getting the hostages back, the deportations, getting Venezuela to play ball. All those are important, but this one in particular, though, is something that would change the country forever, okay? And in this clip, President Trump is talking about, they asked him after this victory over Disney, ABC Disney, with the $15 million Stephanopoulos lawsuit, are there any other media outlets you're going to sue? And he said yes, and he started giving examples, and he gave 2 in this clip, okay? Listen.
I'm going to be bringing one against the people in Iowa, their newspaper, which had a very, very good pollster who got me right all the time. And then just before the election, she said I was going to lose by 3 or 4 points, and it became the biggest story all over the world because I was going to win Iowa by 20 points. The farmers love me, and I love the farmers. And it was interesting the way she did it. She brought it down 2 weeks before. She said I was going to only win by 4. That was a big strike. But that was good because she brought it down from like 22 points to 4 or whatever the number was. Way up. An easy one. Never even thought to go there. I respect them. I love them. And they understand there's no reason to go there because she brought it from way up, walk away, which it was. And it turned out to be in the election too, by the way. It was a win by many, many points. And then she brought it down very smartly to 4 a couple of weeks before. And everyone said, wow, that's amazing. He's only up by 4 points. Then she brought it down to where I was down by 3 or 4, whatever number she used. And that was the Des Moines Register. And it was their parent. And in my opinion, it was fraud and it was election interference. You know, she's got me right always. She's a very good pollster. She knows what she was doing. And she then quit before. And we'll probably be filing a major lawsuit against them today or tomorrow. We're filing one on 60 Minutes, you know about that, where they took Kamala's answer, which was a crazy answer, a horrible answer, and they took the whole answer out and they replaced it with something else she said later on.
Okay, so now this is huge stuff, and out of everything he talked about, I think this was probably the most important thing he said he was going to do for the long term. Okay, did you see this part of it, Steve? He was talking about the polls and the. Okay, the poll he's talking about is that one in Iowa, where he's doing very well, and then all of a sudden they come out with this poll that he's losing to Kamala. In fact, one of Kamala's senior campaign people after the election said, we were very confused by these polls because our internals showed us losing, and we're ahead. Trump, in the last few months of this campaign, repeatedly referenced in rally speeches that how do you even know they're polling people and not just making the numbers up? And the media are in a panic, and because they're when you're in a panic, which is a state of anxiety, you don't see things clearly. Being in a state of anxiety is like being high or drunk. You're not thinking clearly. And Trump's not suing this Des Moines newspaper and this pollster because they had a poll that was not favorable to him. He wants to have discovery so he can find out if they really poll people or not, or do they just make the numbers up? And when they do the discovery, they're going to go through and prove this. Now, it was a telephone survey. They're going to have to produce the phone numbers, and and this will all be sworn testimony, and the people they polled will be also questioned under oath to find out if they were called, if they were polled, and what answers they gave, and do they match up, or if they really even poll anybody. Because these polls we see in the media are the push polls. And I don't know that this would be the case with this poll or any of the polls, but my guess would be that a lot of these polls we see, they do make the numbers up. They don't poll anybody. They just make the numbers up because they want to push people in a certain direction. That doesn't mean it's okay. So's pornography. So's prostitution. So's drug addiction.
Do that with
If the news, Steve, if the news have fake polls where they haven't actually polled people and the pollsters just make up the numbers and say, 53, 47 or whatever it is, and then release something, that's important because that's manipulation of our process. And these fake polls are interference, election interference. And if he proves that these polls are fake, that'll stop, okay? And the media won't be able to manipulate that way. That's huge. The other thing he said at the end, he's going to sue 60 Minutes over the Kamala interview. And the Kamala interview, remember, he said it there. They asked her a question. Her answer was gobbledygook because she's stupid and an alcoholic. So they took an answer to another question and did the edit. So she sounded coherent. And it'll be a similar discovery process where everyone involved in that whole thing is going to be deposed under penalty of perjury and questioned. And we're going to get an inside look as to how that happened. And my guess is that that's standard operating procedure with the major media. And what 60 Minutes did, if they did when this is proven, that's a crime, okay? They're a broadcast television network with a license from the federal government. And when you do things, that this is an election case, okay? So there's a lot on the line here. They may have done criminal actions by doing that edit. And when he shows that, we know they did it. That's already been shown, right? That's already been proven that they did the edit. But when he goes through the process, we find out that this has been standard operating procedure for fake news legacy media forever and ever. I think this stuff would be shocking. Between the polls and this, our legacy media, the networks and all of the newspapers, all that media that we've depended on all these years is corrupt. And we know it, but most people don't. So no, I think those things, that was out of that whole press conference, that little clip right there, I think was the most important part and will have the most long-term impact on future elections. I mean, think about it, Steve. If they if we got what he's suggesting, and I think there's truth to this, that it would be like you and I before we go on the air, right? We're in an election, you know. Okay, well, we want to have a positive discussion for Trump, so we're gonna we commissioned a poll, the Kane poll. Trump is at 68, and we don't poll anybody, but we just write down the number, right? And then we present it like it's a real poll. That's criminal. That's not push polling. It can be considered it, but it's fraud. It's fraud. Yeah, and the media commission these polls from these fraudsters so that they can have something to talk about in an angle that they want, which is the Republicans losing. That's criminal. And this thing in Iowa is huge. So this is going to be a beautiful thing. I cannot wait. Now, I want to talk to you out there. You know, here we are. You know, Christmas is next week, New Year's. If you are suffering with neuropathy, the holiday period, you know, holiday, Christmas, the Jewish holidays, New Year's, if you're suffering with neuropathy, your holidays don't look too bright, right? Looks pretty miserable. You're probably not even in the mood for the holidays or to celebrate or get together with people. Oh my goodness. Life doesn't have to be that way. Call Lighthouse Medical. Not only do they have a treatment for neuropathy that works, it's a treatment that lasts. Because we ran across this just by accident, that Steve was rid of all of his neuropathy suffering over 2.5 years ago. And because when you have neuropathy, you're suffering so much, like you were suffering so much. We weren't thinking of you just want to end the suffering. And when the suffering's over, yay,
You suffer balance issues.
Oh, all the neuropathy. Yeah, and we weren't even thinking about, like, okay, how long will this work? You just want to get over it now, right? You want it to stop now. You're not thinking about, okay, what's next week going to be like, or next year, or 2.5 years later. And we just found out quite by just accident, really talking, that, you know what? It's been 2.5 years since Lighthouse Medical rid you of your neuropathy. It hasn't returned. So their treatment works. And it lasts. Give them a call. Now, when you call, a couple things. One, mention you heard them on the Steve Kane Show because you get the no-charge consultation. Two, no matter where you're located, they can help you. All right? Even if you're local and you can't make it into the office, or you're in Nome, Alaska, okay? If you're in the United States, they can help you with your neuropathy. I'm going to give you their number. Give them a call, 754-222-6642. It's a great way to end the year. Get over there. Rid yourself of neuropathy. Stop the suffering, okay? You don't have to suffer anymore. And if you live with someone with neuropathy, call for them and make the appointment. If you have if mom, dad, your husband, your wife, or grandma, grandpa have neuropathy, call for them. Make the appointment for them. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. lighthousemedicalcenter.com. Okay, so just to finish up, because we're at the end, we only have a few seconds left. That press conference was President Trump's first press conference since he won re-election. The entire thing was epic. I've watched it twice. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. You know, another big takeaway, I thought the press treated him with more respect than I've ever seen them treat him before. Yeah, I mean, and that's different too. You know, a lot of it is they've got, Jim Acosta wasn't there, those kind of jerks. But there were a lot of stupid questions, dumb questions. Oh, the guy that shot the guy, what are your thoughts? I'm against it. It was terrible. What do you expect them to say, these idiots? But yeah, there was a level of respect we haven't seen before. All right, listen, we're out of time for today. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And boy, there's no slow news periods, even during with Christmas with Trump. See you tomorrow. WSFS 104. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. All right.